feeling great. Show up on time and I'm never late. Got my brothers with me and they all straight. Good wine, good food on my dinner plate. Yeah, we just chillin', having fun. Sayonara, old world, cause you done. God got me shining like the sun. I ain't know we shining with the sun.
Move your feet in your sneakers. The music sweet through the speakers. One man to a mamacita. Celebrate, true believers. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your body. Jesucristo, es moreno. Jesucristo, no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus bailan mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus.
Check. Hello.
No mind, why you stressing? Devil always trying, he be testing. But Father steady raining down the blessings. Shout out to the sisters with the woolly hair. Natural style. Now you something rare. Hands in the air, lift them real high. You know you styling, and you know you fly. Hands in the air, lift them real high. Praises to the Father, to the Most High.
We now stay still like ice in a freezer. Who not drink tequila and sip margarita? Don't stay behind, get with the procedure. If you don't repent, then it's hasta la vista. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your body. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus bailan mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus bailan mis hermanos.
The whole world is getting ready to experience a change, cause the time has come for the righteous man to stand up in great boldness. Wisdom of Solomon 5 verse 1. Check. Now everybody waking up and they getting ready, returning to the Lord just like the prophet said it. Now everybody getting right and they getting ready. Listen good and don't forget it. Check it. We are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they want to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. Me tell them, say enough of them are hypocrite, enough of them so shallow. Don't understand today is not promised for tomorrow. Them full up of iniquity, them setting on them ways. Them not see that we in the last days. Me tell them, repent from the wickedness, time to change your life. Them not listening, them no want to know about Christ. Them walk with the devil and them don't have no fear. So me tell them, get the hell out of here. Me walking with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Me not tolerate the disrespect against God's law. So if you're looking for truth, well you're in the right place. Me's a man, we're going to tell it to you straight. I'm making no sense. We are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die. We will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right. Never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. My people live in poverty, suffering in sorrow, cause them no have no leadership, no one them could follow. The pastor them corrupt and the preacher them insane. All them have is money on them brain. Me tell them to stop robbing people and I tell them lies. And on top of it, them asking them to pay more tithes. Them not showing the people how God said to behave. And for this none of them will get saved. You cannot continue teaching them to break God's laws. That's the reason that He put us into slavery for. Let us return to the Father, learn to walk in all His ways, cause Him promising there will be better days. You need to know that we are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that He will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right. Never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end.
Apocalipse 1:14. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus. Baila mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus. Baila mis hermanos.
Black Wall Street, ball out. I buy all gear till I'm all out. Rep 12 tribes, that's what I'm about. Feast day, gotta work, wanna call out. Dance floor, yeah, I'm in a groove. Don't pay them haters no attention till I move. Celebrating, see me dancing on my shoes. To the old life, I'm chucking up the dues. It's a new moon and I'm feeling great. Show up on time and I'm never late. Got my brothers with me and they all straight. Good wine, good food on my dinner plate. Yeah, we just chillin', having fun. Sayonara, old world, cause you done. God got me shining like the sun. I ain't know we shining with the sun.
Move your feet in your sneakers. The music sweet through the speakers. One man to a mamacita. Celebrate, true believers. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your body. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus. Baila mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus. Baila mis hermanos.
Purple rain, yeah, we doing big things. Taking over the world, that's what fate brings. We be so fly, think we got wings. Yeah, we call the shots, tell them we the king. I like the suspense, leave them guessing. Pay them loser no mind, why you stressing? Devil always trying, he be testing. But Father steady raining down the blessings. Shout out to the sisters with the woolly hair. Natural style, rock it anywhere. Fashion on lock, people gotta stare. You ain't usual. now you something rare. Hands in the air, lift them real high. You know you styling, and you know you fly. Hands in the air, lift them real high. Praises to the Father, to the Most High.
We now stay still like ice in a freezer. Who not drink tequila and sip margarita? Don't stay behind, get with the procedure. If you don't repent, then it's hasta la vista. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your body.
Jesucristo, es moreno. Jesucristo, no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. Dos tribus, baila mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. Dos tribus, baila mis hermanos.
The whole world is getting ready to experience a change, cause the time has come for the righteous man to stand up in great boldness. Wisdom of Solomon 5 verse 1. Now everybody waking up and they getting ready, returning to the Lord just like the prophet said it. Now everybody getting right and they getting ready. Listen good and don't forget it. Check it. We are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they want to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get your pride, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. Me tell them, so enough of them are hypocrite, enough of them so shallow. Don't understand today is not promised for tomorrow. Them full of iniquity, them setting on them ways. Them not see that we in the last days. Me tell them, repent from the wickedness, time to change your life. Them not listening, them no want to know about Christ. Them walk with the devil and them don't have no fear. So me tell them, get the hell out of here. Me walking with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Me not tolerate the disrespect against God's law. So if you're looking for truth, well you in the right place. Me's a man, we're going to tell it to you straight. I'm making no sense. We are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. My people live in poverty, suffering in sorrow, cause them no have no leadership, no one them could follow. The pastor them corrupt and the preacher them insane. All them have is money upon them brain. They tell them to stop robbing people and I tell them lies. And on top of it, them asking them to pay more tithes. Them not showing the people how God said to behave. And for this none of them will get saved. You cannot continue teaching them to break God's laws. That's the reason that He put us into slavery for. Let us return to the Father, learn to walk in all His ways, cause Him promising there will be better days. You need to know that we are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that He will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end.
Apocalipse 1:14.
Jesucristo es moreno, Jesucristo no es blanco, la prueba está en la Biblia, 12 tribus, baila mis hermanos, Jesucristo es moreno, Jesucristo no es blanco, la prueba está en la Biblia, 12 tribus, baila mis hermanos.
Black Wall Street, ball out. I buy all gear till I'm all out. Rep 12 tribes, that's what I'm about. Feast day, gotta work, wanna call out. Dance floor, yeah, I'm in a groove. Don't pay them haters no attention till I move. Celebrating, see me dancing on my shoes. To the old life, I'm chucking up the dues. It's a new moon and I'm feeling great. Show up on time and I'm never late. Got my brothers with me and they all straight. Good wine, good food on my dinner plate. Yeah, we just chillin', having fun. Sayonara, old world, cause you done. God got me shining like the sun. I ain't know we shining with the sun.
Move your feet in your sneakers. The music sweet through the speakers. One man to a mamacita. Celebrate, true believers. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your
Jesucristo es moreno, Jesucristo no es blanco, la prueba está en la Biblia, 12 tribus, baila mis hermanos, Jesucristo es moreno, Jesucristo no es blanco, la prueba está en la Biblia, 12 tribus, baila mis hermanos.
Purple rain, yeah, we doing big things. Taking over the world, that's what fate brings. We be so fly, think we got wings. Yeah, we call the shots, tell them we the king. I like the suspense, leave them guessing. Pay them loser no mind, why you stressing? Devil always trying, he be testing. But Father steady raining down the blessings. Shout out to the sisters with the woolly hair. Natural style, rock it anywhere. Fashion on lock, people gotta stare. You ain't usual. Now you something rare. Hands in the air, lift them real high. You know you styling, and you know you fly. Hands in the air, lift them real high. Praises to the Father, to the Most High.
We now stay still like ice in a freezer. Who not drink tequila, I sip margarita. Don't stay behind, get with the procedure. If you don't repent, then it's hasta la vista. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your body.
Jesucristo es moreno, Jesucristo no es blanco, la prueba está en la Biblia, 12 tribus, baila mis hermanos, Jesucristo es moreno, Jesucristo no es blanco, la prueba está en la Biblia, 12 tribus, baila mis hermanos.
The whole world is getting ready to experience a change. Cause the time has come for the righteous man to stand up in great boldness. Wisdom of Solomon 5 verse 1. Now everybody waking up and they getting ready, returning to the Lord just like the prophet said it. Now everybody getting right and they getting ready. Listen good and don't forget it. Check it. We are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they want to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get your pride, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. Look at them, so enough of them are hypocrite, enough of them so shallow. Don't understand today is not promised for tomorrow. Them full up of iniquity, them setting on them ways. Them not see that we in the last days. Me tell them, repent from the wickedness, time to change your life. Them not listening, them no want to know about Christ. Them walk with the devil and them don't have no fear. So me tell them, get the hell out of here. Me walking with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Me not tolerate the disrespect against God's law. So if you're looking for truth, well, you're in the right place. Me's a man, we're going to tell it to you straight. I make you know, say, we are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get your pride, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. My people live in poverty, suffering in sorrow, cause them no have no leadership, no one them could follow. The pastor them corrupt and the preacher them insane. All them have is money upon them brain. Me tell them to stop robbing people and I tell them lies. And on top of it, them asking them to pay more tithes. Them not showing the people how God said to behave, and for this none of them will get saved. You cannot continue teaching them to break God's laws. That's the reason that He put us into slavery for. Let us return to the Father, learn to walk in all His ways, cause Him promising there will be better days. You need to know that we are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that He will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get your pride, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end.
Apocalipse 1:14.
Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus baila mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus baila mis hermanos.
Black Wall Street, ball out. I buy all gear till I'm all out. Rep 12 tribes, that's what I'm about. Feast day, gotta work, wanna call out. Dance floor, yeah, I'm in a groove. Don't pay them haters no attention till I move. Celebrating, see me dancing on my shoes. To the old life, I'm chucking up the dues. It's a new moon and I'm feeling great. Show up on time and I'm never late. Got my brothers with me and they all straight. Good wine, good food on my dinner plate. Yeah, we just chillin', having fun. Sayonara, old world, cause you done. God got me shining like the sun. I ain't know we shining with the sun.
Move your feet in your sneakers. The music sweet through the speakers. One man to a mamacita. Celebrate, true believers. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your body.
Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia.
Taking over the world, that's what fate brings. We be so fly, think we got wings. Yeah, we call the shots, tell them we the king. I like the suspense, leave them guessing. Pay them loser no mind, why you stressing? Devil always trying, he be testing. But Father steady raining down the blessings. Shout out to the sisters with the woolly hair. Natural style, rock it anywhere. Fashion on lock, people gotta stare. You ain't usual, now you something rare. Hands in the air, lift them real high. You know you styling, and you know you fly. Hands in the air, lift them real high. Praises to the Father, to the Most High.
We now stay still like ice in a freezer. Who not drink tequila and sip margarita? Don't stay behind, get with the procedure. If you don't repent, then it's hasta la vista. Don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Move your feet till your muscle them don't shock. Party a dance, we a dance, don't stop. Dance, we a dance, and I tell them don't stop. Party a dance, we a dance. Dance, we a dance till you can't feel your back.
Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus bailan mis hermanos. Jesucristo es moreno. Jesucristo no es blanco. La prueba está en la Biblia. 12 tribus bailan mis hermanos.
The whole world is getting ready to experience a change. Cause the time has come for the righteous man to stand up in great boldness. Wisdom of Solomon 5 verse 1. Know everybody waking up and they getting ready. Returning to the Lord just like the prophet said it. Know everybody getting right and they getting ready. Listen good and don't forget it. Check it. We are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. Me tell them, say enough of them are hypocrite, enough of them so shallow. Don't understand today is not promised for tomorrow. Them full up of iniquity, them setting on them ways. Them not see that we in the last days. Me tell them, repent from the wickedness, time to change your life. Them not listening, them no want to know about Christ. Them walk with the devil and them don't have no fear. So me tell them, get the hell out of here. Me walking with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Me not tolerate the disrespect against God's law. So if you're looking for truth, well you in the right place. Me's a man, we're going to tell it to you straight. I make you know, say, we are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that they will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end. My people live in poverty, suffering in sorrow, cause them no have no leadership, no one them could follow. The pastor them corrupt and the preacher them insane. All them have is money upon them brain. Me tell them to stop robbing people and I tell them lies. And on top of it, them asking them to pay more tithes. Them not showing the people how God said to behave, and but this none of them will get saved. You cannot continue teaching them to break God's laws. That's the reason that He put us into slavery for. Let us turn to the Father, learn to walk in all His ways, cause Him promising there will be better days. You need to know that we are the Israelites, the ones that follow Christ. We will never ever die, we will only multiply. The enemy will try to take away your life, but they're going to see that He will definitely pay a price. If you're an Israelite, you must be righteous, cause you represent the Most High. So remember this, you got to get it right, never give up the fight. Christ said to endure until the end.
Apocalipse 1:14. Jesucristo es moreno.
All right. Shalom. You are now tuned into the Lionz Den radio show.
That's right.
All right. Today's date is July what?
Another day in captivity.
Another day in captivity.
Right.
We are in the month of July, where the Jews continue to lie. So we're going to expose their lies.
Absolutely.
July 21st.
Right. Okay. July 21st. 2019.
Yes, sir.
2019.
Gosh, dog.
Time be flying, man.
So where them people that say we're supposed to be leaving in the year 2019? It's getting closer.
I don't know.
Where they at? Where they at?
They're typing on the keyboard right now.
Keyboard prophets.
Right.
Keyboard prophets. So before we get started, I'm Captain OC.
Officer Nathaya.
Officer Eladar.
Officer Yaziel.
Officer Aaron.
All right. And if you have never tuned into the Lionz Den radio show, we're going to make it very plain and simple what our mission is.
Bring it out.
We do not ignore evil.
We seek to expose it.
So that's what we're going to do today. Today's topic is we're going to deal with you sisters out there.
Uh-oh.
And you effeminate men.
Uh-oh.
We're going to deal with a topic known to the world as feminism.
Bring it out.
Femininims.
Bring it out.
Femininims.
Too many M's.
Femininims.
But before we get into feminism, in the depths of the Satan of feminism, we're going to deal with a few current topics. So give me that first article we sent. The first article we sent on the young men in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, man.
Let's see what this is about. I believe it's a video. All right. Who's going to read?
Got it.
Let's watch the video first.
A search is underway for those four
Play the video. The little
inmates who staged a fight and escaped a juvenile justice facility. Here's how they did it. Happened in Jacksonville, Florida. Officials say the teens had an elaborate plan. They overpowered the staff, then made it to a control room, overpowered that staff, then pushed the button to open the gate. They are accused of stealing a staff member's car keys, cell phone, and car. It's a bronze four-door Infiniti with personalized Florida plates that reads Lane 19. Police say if you do spot them, call Crime Stoppers. The reward could be up to $3,000.
Wow. All right. So we see the young men in Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
They have got out of prison.
Take a listen now to audio that we've received of radio messages from an Iranian.
Hey, if you watch Prison Break,
that was like
this is going to be made into a movie.
Right.
Now, I don't know nothing about these brothers, but I tell you this much. You got to have some type of brains to be able to get out of prison.
Yeah. I was about to say, that was some wicked display of unity.
Right, exactly. Right. You know what? Let's get the scripture. Give me Jeremiah 4:22. Because Jake is so wise, you can figure out a way to come together in unity, like you just said, to break out of prison.
Wow.
But you get a Negro to come together to prevent abortions, to prevent baby mamas.
Hey. Hell no.
No, they won't do that. We get 800 men marching together in Memphis, and now they can't go out to the street. They can't do certain stuff no more.
Right.
Just like, it's crazy.
Hey, Cap, so basically that's showing that whenever we come together, we can do anything.
There you go. There you go.
Even break out of jail.
Even break out of jail.
Gosh, dog.
These are young men too. I read it because it was a juvenile center.
Right.
And it said they overpowered 2 different rooms set up with security men.
Right. They set that thing up.
I'm gonna tell y'all straight up. I've been in that same juvenile detention center.
Oh, damn.
Bomb
And
drop.
it ain't, hey, listen. I'm still trying to figure out how that happened.
It was like, why they ain't show me
How did that happen?
Dang. So
that means you tried.
That thing is ran tight.
Dang.
So they got out. So
Didn't work
y'all
out.
right.
Dang. Because when that's how I tried to play it. I was like, all right, maybe it was a juvenile detention center. They ain't running it. So they run
that thing tight.
Dang. That's crazy.
They run that thing tight.
And this is the bigger thing. They still ain't found them.
Right.
Exactly.
To this day.
Right.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Hey, that's true. Read that. Somebody read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 4 and verse 22.
Uh-huh.
For my people is foolish.
My people what?
Is foolish.
My people is foolish. Read.
They have not known me.
Uh-huh.
They are Sodom's children.
They are what?
They are Sodom's children.
Uh-huh.
They have none understanding.
Uh-huh.
They are wise to do evil.
They are what?
Wise to do evil.
Our people are wise to do evil. Because like we said, they're not knowing, I don't know their sentences, but if they're in juvenile, that means they ain't got no long term, right?
Right.
So they just added a lot of time to whatever they was in.
Right.
Because now you don't broke out of prison.
Right.
I don't know what all laws they broke, but I know it's a lot.
Ironically, it's in the wrong place because a few years ago, Jacksonville was the leading city that sentenced young juveniles to actually adult-sized crimes. So they did it in the wrong place.
So they ain't gonna play with them. What you saying?
No, sir.
Right. They got that extended stay.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Hey, sound man. Hold on 1 second. We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're still looking for new IT members as well. Don't put a help wanted ad in the paper.
Hiring now.
Yes.
All right. Go.
Check.
This is great.
Hello. All right, there we go. Okay.
Check. Mic check.
All right.
Check. No, mic.
Hello.
Mic check. Yeah, check. Mic check.
Hello.
Mic check.
Check.
Mic check.
Check.
Nada.
Right.
Yeah, intermission. Yeah. Let's play Make Israelites Great Again. The bench. Put on the bench scene.
Damn.
I press that triangle button.
Sorry about that.
We back.
All praise.
We should be back.
We back.
Are we on Facebook yet, man? All right. Unbelievable. I apologize. We're finally on Facebook. All right. So hopefully everybody can hear us.
Hey, we need some examples of that teamwork over here. That's what we need.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Maybe if we were showing a twerk video, they would be on point. I don't know. Wise to do evil. Because we are only wise to do evil. But to do righteousness, we have no knowledge.
Damn.
That's what it says.
Sheesh. All right, let's go to the next video. Great day.
Her story.
All right. There we go.
Oh, man.
Stretch code.
Her story went viral. A mother who says that she was turned away from an HISD school when she tried to enroll her daughter because of how she, the mother, was dressed. Now new tonight, that school has issued an official dress code for parents. It's a story you saw first on 2 about 2 weeks ago.
Now, since we talked with that frustrated mother, Madison High School has gone forward with a plan making it clear how it believes parents should present themselves when they're on school grounds. It's a story that has received mixed opinions since the very beginning. Our Sally Mamdou is getting more of the reaction on campus. Sally?
And Bill, parents are outraged by this, calling this dress code ridiculous. Starting this month at James Madison High School, students won't be the only ones following a dress code. The same will go for their parents. So they did say something about what you're wearing.
Yeah, they handed me this piece of paper talking about we're supposed to give this to all the parents.
This James Madison High School parent is referring to this letter issued by the school's principal, Caroletta Outlay Brown, addressing guests and parents on a dress code they must follow. In the letter, the principal says, quote, "Parents, we do value you as a partner in your child's education. You are your child's first teacher. However, please know we have to have standards. Most of all, we must have high standards. Among new guidelines listed on the letter include preventing anyone from entering the building or even being on school premises wearing a satin cap or a bonnet on their head. Shower caps of any kind are also not allowed. Hair rollers will no longer be permitted." These guidelines were put in place after Channel 2 News brought you this story of a Madison High School mother earlier this month who wasn't initially able to enroll her daughter because of what she was wearing and what was on her head. Parents we spoke to today don't agree with the new rules.
I think it's ridiculous because they don't know the situation. You know, I had an emergency today.
This woman is now just learning the new dress code as she was picking up her child.
Basically, what you're wearing right now on your head is not allowed in there.
I guess that's because I have this on my head. You saying I can't go in there?
Yes, that's the new dress code.
I don't know who this new principal is, but she is out of control.
And she says she doesn't see the relevance behind the dress code.
I'm going to school, I'm going to go presentable. But if I have this on my head, I don't see how that's a bad example for a child.
And we've reached out to HISD and they don't have a comment. In the meantime, the Parent-Teacher-Student Organization plans to hold a meeting inviting parents to discuss this new dress code. We're live in Southwest Houston. Sally Mamdou, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
All right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it, a week ago, a sister on an airplane had to be told to cover up?
Absolutely.
Yep. Had to give her a blanket because she was trying to be Stella getting her groove back.
Right.
And now you got a week later, a parent got to be told how to dress to teach their child.
Hey, and that doctor, she didn't understand either.
Yeah.
Nah, she did.
Can I pull the scripture on that real quick?
Yeah.
Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 44. Because black and Hispanic woman, you Israelite women have to understand, you cannot walk out of the house with bedroom apparel. These sisters look like they just woke up, got out of bed, and then took their children to school and have the nerve to say that it's presentable. Can you read that for me, please?
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 44. Behold, everyone that useth proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother.
As is the what?
As is the mother.
You notice they only were interviewing black and Hispanic mothers, not the Chinese woman, not the white woman, anybody else who actually knows how to dress getting out of bed. Read on.
As is the mother, so is her daughter.
That's what she's gonna create, the same environment and the same thing over and over. Her daughter is gonna think that is appropriate. I see that a lot at the Walmarts, different places. We see our women dressed in literally apparel that they just, these sisters just got out of bed. Right. That is not presentable for you to go to your children's school in. Now the white man says, you can't come into school. It's that simple.
Hey, well, our people got to understand. Yeah, where the sound bites, man? Sound guy.
Oh,
what's going on?
They shook over there. They messed up the show. They shook.
Hey, brother, forget your bad work. Come on. Move forward. Boom. There it is.
Move forward.
we got to give our own.
All right.
Bishop went over it yesterday. Forget it.
Message.
Move forward. You screwed up the first 5 minutes. Now let's make the rest good. There we
Got to
go.
give our own sound effects today.
Okay. Press toward the mark. Go ahead, officer.
He made me forget my thought, man.
All right.
He made me forget my thought. Just go to the next video.
Oh, no. We ain't got to go to the next. Hold on. I know you had something you wanted to bring out. I just want to say this. It's sad. It's a sad day when our oppressors have to set a standard for our own people. We are at a very, very low level. That's why I said I think you was finna read it. Was you finna read we destroyed as a people? Was you finna read that in Deuteronomy 28? But that shows you how destroyed we are, that the other nations have to set a standard. Go to Romans 13 real quick. Romans chapter 13 and verse 1. Because I guarantee you, if you're doing what you're supposed to, nobody ever has a problem with you.
Right.
They don't have to put a dress code in if you already dressed correctly. They don't have to do that.
Right.
Read that to Terror the Good Works.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works.
Rulers are not a terror to good works. The principle, she's not asking you to do nothing crazy. She's just telling you to present yourself in a reasonable appearance.
She said, be an example. You the first example to your children.
Right. There you go.
Decent.
There you go. Because what our people I fail to understand is the way you present yourself at school is how much value it is to them. For example, when you go to a court case, you understand it's life or death. How you dress. You are dressed to the T.
Right.
Likewise, if you're going to the school where you feel that this is the place where they can change their life, if you really believe education is of high esteem, you're not going to show up with a shower cap, with a t-shirt, with no clothes
Pajama
on,
pants.
With rollers in your head.
Because you know what? You understand this is a place of prestige.
Right.
This is a place where it can change your life. But guess what? You don't really believe that. That's a daycare for you.
So I guess dressing modest is acting white now.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Bring it out.
And Cap, and just like you said, it shows how much they care about their kids' education.
Yep.
Because you come out of the house looking like you just woke out of bed, it shows you really don't care. You dress better than that when you go to the club.
Exactly.
Hey, listen,
Crazy,
some of them
man.
kids, I know when I was growing up, we might go back in the house.
Right.
You're going to embarrass me.
Absolutely.
What is wrong with you?
Absolutely.
Imagine showing up to a parent-teacher conference.
Right.
Dressed like that. And you arguing for your kid's grade.
Right.
You think the teacher going to take you serious?
Hey, what you said, Officer, I can't tell you how many times my mom made me change. So it happened all the time. You know, you get around 13, 12, you want to wear what you want to wear, you get lazy. And I was coming in with the gym shorts era, gym shorts and flip-flops. Nah, you ain't wearing that.
Right.
Because we used to have standards. But now they don't have no standards, man. Monsters.
Go ahead and finish that, Cat. Was you done with that?
Yeah, I was done with it.
Get Sirach 1929, because the sister said, I don't understand. Yeah, you do lack understanding. And a lot of times what our people don't understand is how it affects all of us. Okay. Read that for me right quick.
The book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 29. A man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance.
So she admitted, I don't understand. Right? Now, one of the things that them being out there at 8, 9 in the morning, right, dressed like that, shows is you don't have no business. And one of the derogatory terms or phrases that a lot of the other nations, especially Esau, is, I'm tired of taking care of y'all.
Right.
My taxes pay for y'all.
Right.
Your welfare and all of that. Well, your look and your behavior is basically inciting those comments.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying all of those sisters are on welfare, but what I'm saying is that look and the demeanor makes it easy for that stereotype to be placed on our people.
Right.
And so that they don't really, that selfishness, you don't care about your people. You don't care that this is affecting not just your children, but all of us throughout the United States and throughout the world. They see us and they like, you see that? That's how they all are.
Right. That's an excellent point, Officer Kimuel, because they expect to see the parents in apparel to going to work.
Yep.
But when they see the sister, exactly, dressed like that, what they assume?
Hey, you remember what she said? She said, y'all don't understand. It was an emergency. Right. An emergency is just how you roll out of bed?
Right.
Come on now. It don't take that. That means that you don't brush your teeth. Right. It was an emergency.
None of those.
Let's go to the next video.
Just gave us all a heart attack, but that's all good though.
Lord have mercy.
You want me to read this article?
Yeah.
It says ESPN reminds employees to avoid political talk after host blasts Trump report. Scroll down a little for me, please. It says ESPN has reportedly sent a memo to employees reminding them to avoid discussing politics in the light of a talk show host Dan Le Batard's strong criticism of President Trump. The Associated Press, citing an ESPN employee who spoke on condition of anonymity, reported that the reminder was sent on Friday, a day after Le Batard voiced strong disdain over the "send her back" chants that targeted Rep. Ilhan Omar at a Trump rally in North Carolina.
You said it right.
So,
scroll down. Read full story.
Yeah, read full.
Come on. Because it's a point that I want y'all to get to. Blow that up some so we can read it. Yeah, scroll down.
It says, while offering his criticism, Le Batard also called out ESPN for its policy limiting on-air personalities from engaging in political discussion, saying it was cowardly.
Now, he's talking about his employer, right? Calling his employers cowards, right? All right, go ahead.
ESPN has not publicly addressed Le Batard's comment and whether he will face disciplinary action.
Because somebody else spoke out about Trump, right? And face disciplinary actions, right? From ESPN? All right, go ahead.
The network declined a request for a comment from the Hill. Le Batard declined a comment to the AP. Le Batard, whose parents are from Cuba, gained massive attention late last week after taking time out of his radio show to condemn Trump's rhetoric and the chant he presided over. What happened last night? This felt un-American, he said. It is not the America that my parents aimed to get for us. For exiles, for brown people.
For who?
Brown people.
Oh, hell no. So, Dan Le Batard, he spoke out against Trump, right? But now, somebody else spoke out against Trump earlier, right? What happened to that person? Go to the next article. What happened to the person that spoke out against Trump earlier? Blow that up. Jemele Hill is out at ESPN. That was dated August 25th, 2018.
So almost a year ago.
So Dan Le Batard just spoke out, just recently, a few days ago, right? All right, scroll down.
Says Jemele Hill needed to be out at ESPN.
You see that? Hey, I want our people to understand. I don't care if you play sports, you love sports. You got to understand that these teams represent gods to Esau.
Right.
You speaking against their gods. Go ahead.
Hill knew it. ESPN president Jimmy Pitaro knew it. And now Jemele Hill is out at ESPN. The marriage between ESPN and Hill, the controversial sports commentator who waded into politics and sparred with President Donald Trump, has been stuck in irreconcilable differences since leaving SportsCenter earlier this year. She has barely worked, making a divorce the obvious conclusion.
Because when you say something, you speak out against them, they'll cut you off. We saw that with Colin Kaepernick, right? This is America, and they will do that.
You know what's crazy about that? She from Orlando.
Right.
So you trying to tell me she couldn't get back her job over there by Orlando Sentinel? That's what got her to gig at ESPN to begin with.
Right.
It says a buyout of her report $2.5 million per year contract has been completed, and her last day will be Friday, according to sources. On Saturday night, the author James Miller, who wrote a book about ESPN, first tweeted the news of the breakup, calling it amicable.
Amicable. That means they agreed, right? It was a friendly buyout, right?
The timing on a Saturday evening was fortunate for Hill and ESPN in an attempt to lessen the news coverage of what had been a huge national story, both in politics and in sports.
You remember how when Kaepernick was going through what he was going through, Trump threatened he would call up the owners because they was all friends of his.
Right.
You know, like, I'll shut you down.
Right.
You know? Go ahead.
There have been rumblings last week of buyout talks between the two sides. It is quite simple as to why the buyout happened. Hill wants to continue her involvement in politics, and ESPN wants out of politics.
So that's we can end there. ESPN wants out of politics. Somebody didn't tell Dan Le Batard.
Right.
He got so frustrated with what Trump said that he weighed in on it. So now we got to sit back and we got to see what's ESPN going to do now.
Uh-oh.
That's heavy. Go to Psalm 94 and verse 20, I think it is, 16. But what we want to see is politics. What's the three things you can't talk about at work?
Religion, politics.
What else?
It's the third. Come on, you just brought it out of camp. You just brought it out of camp. I just shared the camp video. Religion, politics, and sex.
Sex.
Right.
Okay.
Those are the three things.
You will get a
Those are the three things
to slap on the wrist.
You used to not be able to talk about it.
Right.
But now it's only when it's coming against the pockets at the end of the day, really.
Right.
That's when they'll say something. But what we're seeing, though, is more because you notice they put in there that he has Cuban parents.
Right.
Showing you that he feels that this is oppressing him.
Right.
The Dan Patrick, none of the other white, they like, hey, man, this is my job. This is just what I talk sports. I get paid millions. I ain't saying nothing. But for him, it was an issue that he felt it was something worthy of him to speak out against.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to show you what God calls us to do for you brothers and sisters that believe and see the things that are going on. Are we, how much time we got? 6:26? We got 4 more minutes. The Eric Garner case. Did we get a chance to pull that up? But this week, did we go over that last week? Or did that just come out this week?
I think that just came out this
week.
week.
That just came out
we
this
didn't
week.
pull it up.
Right.
You want to go into it?
No. I want to go. I want to get into the topic at 6:30. But with Eric Garner going on, you see this sister getting released from her job for doing all this stuff. You see him speaking out. Brothers and sisters are starting to speak out on things that they see. But this is what God has already told us to do. Read that for me, please. Somebody.
The book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 16. Who will rise up for me?
Who will what?
Who will rise up for me against the evildoers?
Against who?
Against the evildoers.
Against the evildoers. Read.
Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity?
So, God is asking for you brothers and sisters. You don't have to be a sports star. You don't have to be on television.
Right.
He's asking for us to do the same thing in our lives.
Right.
Stand up against the evil and against the iniquity and the sins that America has us in. And we're going to deal with one today that's very, very prevalent in our neighborhoods and in our communities. And it's the fact that women want to make themselves superior to the men.
Right.
So we're going to see, once we get into the topic, we're going to see who's going to stand up against the workers of iniquity. Go ahead. You have something on that?
So, did y'all go into the actual topic, what the topic is about today? Okay. So, today we're going into New Age feminism, right?
Mm-hmm.
New Age feminism. Is that good for us as Israelites, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Because there is a strong push, almost like they're going into that the woman is God doctrine across the world.
Yep.
Because now you're seeing all the strong figures are women.
The biggest voices speaking up. You don't see no brothers out there at all, not one.
Where are the brothers?
They're under the skirts right now. I think that's what it is.
Where you at, black man? Where you at, Hispanic man? So Y'all went into the logo, the motto. Okay, so we ready to get started, huh?
We finna show this commercial break and then we going in. Did y'all? Hey, show the other commercial because y'all already played this one when we was distracted.
Once again, open auditions.
I would think we would have the tact.
Requirement is border blue and fringes.
Okay. Let's do it.
Where's Officer Daniel when you need him? Sheesh.
Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice. Ye have brought this man unto me as one that perverted the people. And behold, I, having examined him before you, have found no fault in this man. What would you have me to do with him? Free Barabbas! Free Barabbas! Kill him! Give us Barabbas! Give us Barabbas! Crucify him!
We back.
All right. So we back. Lionz Den Radio. What's our phone number?
407-545-4624.
Hey man, say it like you mean it.
I'm telling you, man. Where that Judah voice, man?
We want you to call in.
Hey.
What's going on? Hold on. Let me try again.
He was saying it like
that voice. Let me try again.
Do you want me to say it?
Hey man, you got to ease your way into it.
You got to use the camera.
You can't just jump into it. All right.
So we have.
All right. So here on the Lionz Den, we want to hear your questions and your concerns. All right. Call us at 407-545-4624.
That's right. There you go. What are y'all doing?
What about that? That's better?
There you go.
That's better.
There you go.
All praises.
So the New Age feminism. There was a movie called Annie Get Your Gun. And there was a statement. There was a song they did where the woman said, anything you can do, I can do better. Wow. That's what you're seeing in this New Age feminism. Basically what she's saying, I can replace you.
Right.
I can be a better man than you can be.
So now my question is, was you alive when this came out?
No.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, hell no. I'm messing with you.
Hey, so this is where that commercial came from. That Frosted Flakes commercial with the boys and the girls.
That's Frosted
Both
Flakes.
playing soccer.
Anything you can do, I can do.
Jordan in there.
You gotta find. Hey, we gotta pull that commercial up.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. We finna play.
Nothing new under the sun, right?
Nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun.
In Switzerland.
How come you got that vacant lot there?
Oh, I didn't wear them all. What you waiting for?
You don't want these. Haven't got any stones in them.
Oh, I got all the stones around. Go ahead, Frank.
Now, these are too plain for you. They just got writing on the back. To Frank Butler, the champion sharpshooter of the world.
What world? The old world or the new world?
The whole world.
I got all these that says you ain't.
They don't prove anything.
I ain't been beat yet.
Pause. Did you hear what she said?
The old world
order.
Or the new world.
The old world or the new world. That's why it's titled New Age Feminism. All right, go ahead and play.
That time back in Cincinnati, that was just beginner's luck.
What?
You heard me. I thought maybe that nonsense had been knocked out of you. Why, it couldn't happen again in a million years.
Oh, no. It's gonna happen again tomorrow. Charlie.
Yeah.
Find some place where we can have ourselves a match.
Who?
Me and old Potshot here.
Oh, I love that. There ain't no love in a shooting woman. What a wife she'd make. Instead of tending the house, she'd be tending her gun. Instead of staying home sewing, she'd be out hitting targets.
Yeah, and you'd be out missing them.
Wait a minute. That's not the right spirit to start working together.
We're not working together.
Not now or ever.
Cannot stop merger.
I just did. And get us a range.
That dress sure had me fooled. For a minute, I thought you was getting to be a lady.
Hey,
it's going to be a pleasure to give you a lesson in marksmanship.
Go back just a little bit.
You couldn't give me a lesson in long distance.
Right there.
There ain't no love in a shooting
Look at
woman.
this.
What a wife she'd make.
Somebody can look at this.
Somebody can look at this. Instead of staying home sewing, she'd be out hitting targets.
Yeah, and you'd be out missing them.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's not the
Pause
right
that
spirit
for a minute. Esau was everybody, ain't he?
That's a $5 Indian, huh?
Wait a minute.
It's a damn shame.
They can't even get real Gad to play game.
Right, he got purchased with 2 proofs of purchase from the cereal box.
Damn.
What y'all see though? What y'all see is she's all up in the man's face. Right. No shame facing. Arguing with the man. Right. This leads into what we deal with on a daily basis.
Heavy.
Wow.
Heavy.
Go ahead, play that.
Working together.
We're not working together.
Not now or ever.
Cannot stop merger.
I just did. And get us a range.
That dress sure had me fooled. For a minute I thought you was getting to be a lady. It's going to be a pleasure to give you a lesson in marksmanship.
You couldn't give me a lesson in long-distance spitting. Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Anything you can be, I can be greater. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I can shoot a partridge with a single cartridge.
All right.
Let me get it. Let's get a script on this video real quick. Let's get a.
This is Bruce Jenner's spirit right here.
Hey, before you get the script, go in. What do you see in that? What do you see? There's a lot right there in that minute that we just saw.
First of all, what we see in this is how our so-called black and Hispanic women on how they imitate the so-called white women today. Okay, and let's get it real quick. It won't be long. Jeremiah 31:22. Because as a result of the feminist movement, the so-called white woman, she started wearing pants. She started challenging her husband. So now our Israelite women want to copy and follow the same thing that their oppressor does. So let's see what the scripture says on that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter?
So the Most High looks at us, when you read Jeremiah 6:2, he looks at us as a comely and delicate woman. We are the backsliding daughters, the nation of Israel, that have went backslidden from the commandments of the Lord. Go ahead.
For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth.
So the Lord have created a new thing, because when we read in Genesis chapter 3, verse 16, the woman's desire is supposed to be to her husband. So this is the new thing that is created today in this earth. Read on.
A woman shall compass a man.
And that's what we see today, carrying on, trickling down from the so-called white women all the way down to our sisters. Now the so-called, the loudmouth black woman wants to be up in her man's face. And now this is what destroys a family. This is what destroys a nation, because the marriage is not honorable in the sight of God.
So what we see right there, and notice the time period. Did y'all see what year this was put out? 1950. Notice we always say art imitates life.
Right.
Art imitates life. They put that out there in the 50s. It became a reality when? 70s, 80s.
Exactly.
That's when the woman wanted to start fighting for their rights.
Right.
So understand the media, and now it's the same thing now that's going on. They want women to take it to an even higher level. Now they're pushing what? Superheroes.
Right.
That's the big thing now. Before you ain't never seen no woman superhero. Never.
Nope.
Now you can't find a male superhero. And if you do, the woman surpass him.
Right.
So this is nothing new. Hey, did y'all get the clip Officer Aaron sent?
Officer Anathias sent it.
Officer Anathias sent it.
You know, that's funny.
Michael Jordan and Mia Hamm.
It's because, like you was bringing out, 1950, right? We was getting, meaning man and woman, getting chased by dogs, hosed down on the street.
Yep.
And somehow the white woman's fight became our sister's fight.
Right.
There you go.
Hey, and in certain places of Alabama and Mississippi, all the way up to 1975, we was still shackled on plantations.
We still shackled right now. It's called 13th Amendment.
Right.
Hey, press play.
Anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Had enough? Let's go. Anything you can be, I can be greater. Ready, stop. Sooner or later, I'm greater than you.
I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
Hey, if y'all don't see the depths of Esau, everything everything they do has a plan.
Right.
They use the same exact music to evoke the same exact spirits, but now they're doing it in modern day. They have not changed anything they are doing.
Right.
It's the same methods, like we just said. We was in shackles. Because I remember the title before you posted that. I had posted that same article about the woman trying to fight for equal pay. Because that's the same thing they did last time, like you just mentioned. We would vote for civil rights, and then what happened? They said, all right, let's make it a women's movement.
Yeah.
But notice now they put it with sports because the women start playing sports now because that wasn't something they was doing before. Yep. What do we see? The same thing today. Now you got the woman trying to get the... It's the same stuff over and over and over.
You know, like, you remember the movie Kill Bill? Yep. Now, I didn't take any of the clips from that, but you got this bony white woman, right, beating down everybody, even the one that taught her how to fight. Dang. Now she's just destroying everybody, all men.
Right.
Right. Lord have mercy.
Hey, Lord ain't gonna have no mercy on that thing. Though.
And the craftiness behind it, look at it. They took a man that's universally known as one of the best athletes, period.
Right.
Put him up with a sister. Men can't beat him now. Put him up with Mia Hamm, the white woman, and now she's equal to him.
Her name is unlawful.
She said, hey, she said she's better.
Right.
You're right.
Wasn't no equal.
You're right.
She said, I can be better.
And for real, they say imagery don't matter. That does matter.
Right.
Sisters really do envy that thing. They envy the hair, they envy the dress and everything. Meanwhile, you envying somebody that hates your guts. They're over here transforming into you.
Hey.
Remember the thing we saw the other day?
Yeah.
Don't forget, though, what just happened to the transgender that got in a ring with the female.
Oh, you mean a man beat up a woman?
Thank you.
Legally?
Right.
Right. Hey, you know what? Like you said, art imitates life, right? Can we get the book of Esther? Esther, to show you that the nations understand this thing too. All right, they understand this. That's why they put these examples in front of us. Just like Officer Kim stated earlier with the first video clip, you had the Edomite woman in the face of the Edomite man. You had him in her face, right? She was in his face. He said that what that would do is show a bad example for the rest of the women. So let's see if that's in the scriptures. We're gonna start at Esther, chapter 1 and verse 11.
The book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 11. To bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal.
Right, so you had King Ahasuerus. He asked for Queen Vashti, right? He wanted to show off. He said, guards, go get Queen Vashti for me, right? Let's go.
To show the people and the princess her beauty.
Go
for
ahead.
she was fair to look on.
But what did she do?
But the Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment.
She did what?
Refused to come at the king's commandment.
It says she refused to come at the king's commandment. So she rebelled. She didn't want to listen to the king, right? So now jump to verse 17.
Verse 17.
So what was the mindset of the king and the other men that were around when she did this thing? Read that.
For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women.
Unto who?
All women.
Right. So they understood that by this example that this woman did, it would come into all women. All women would see this and they would try to imitate it. Right? Go ahead.
So that they shall despise their husbands.
They shall what?
Despise their husbands.
They will hate their husbands. Right? Go ahead.
In their eyes. When it shall be reported. Then the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti, the queen, to be brought in before him, but she came not.
Right. So by this one woman's example, they understood that by what she did would be an example to all women. So what we seeing on TV, it's not a surprise that in 2019 we got women trying to rise up against the men.
And I want the listening audience to hold that thought. What you just brought out is heavy. We're going to revisit that thing, okay? Because the scriptures go into that in Titus 2.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. So let's go ahead and play this next video. Now, there's a song that John Lennon did. We're not going to play the song. We're not going to play the song. But there was an interview that he did explaining the lyrics of the song, and then we're going to show the lyrics. Go ahead.
Tell me that. Okay. Just one other reason we want to be here is because we really dig it. We dig America. We always have. She loves it, and she's converted me to one of those New York fanatics. Okay, do you want to talk about this?
New York fire.
Yeah, I hate it when I leave New York now.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes, you have a record here that bears some explanation because there's a bit of hassling going on as to whether or not it can be sung or not.
Yeah, there's always every
explain
other
what?
record I seem to have a hassle with.
Yeah.
Well, this is a song about the women's problem. It was written by Yoko and I, and the song is called "Woman is the Nigger of the World." And obviously, there was a few people that reacted strangely to it, but usually they were.
Pause. That might have went by a little too fast. Y'all got to rewind that about 10 seconds. There you go. Play it again.
Yeah. Well, this is a song about the women's problem. It was written by Yoko and I, and the song is called "Woman is the Nigger of the World."
Wait a
and
minute.
obviously
Stop.
there was a few.
He said the woman is the nigger of the world. What about the niggas?
Bring it out.
What are they? Dang, we just an object. Like we a dog or we a cat. That's what it is. That's what that's telling me. We ain't actually people. Because he compared us to but that lets you know their mindset towards us. So is the woman 3/5?
Right, that's what I was just gonna say. What about the black woman? What is she then? What is she?
Wow. All right. Hey, as we go on in this show, we're going to see how the world thinks about the black woman, which is why that we have to be reunited as Israelites. Go ahead, play.
Few people that reacted strangely to it, but usually they were white and male. But that's not. Now, I'll tell you the story of how it came about. In 1969, I put it on the cover of the single so as it helps explain it a bit. Yoko did an interview with a woman about the woman's problem, and I didn't have anything to do with it. And then I noticed the cover. It was called Nova. It's an English woman's magazine like McCall's or something like that. And the first time I heard about it was I saw it on the cover of McCall's like that. And it sort of said, "She, woman is the nigger of the world." Well, at the time, I was more of a chauvinist than I am now. And I must say, I was saying, well, come on, what about this and what about that? And I argued a lot. And then, as like everybody else, we talked more and more about it. In the last 2 years, it became more of a thing. And I had to, find out about myself and my attitude to women. And this phrase of hers kept coming through my head, "Woman is the nigger of the world, woman is the nigger." So I said, "Come on, Yoko, look, this is it. You've said it here. I agree with you now. I think she is. She's the slave of the slaves." That's what Connolly said, the great Irishman. And so we sat down together and we wrote, we tried to write together the whole story as best we could in a 3 or 4 minute song. And it's called "Woman is the Nigger of the World." And then, luckily for me, because a lot of stations were saying, well, we're not going to play this because it says nigger and a white man shouldn't say it. Though all my black friends feel I have quite a right to say it because they understand it.
Pause. Esau always does that. Esau always does that. He thinks he can get a pass because of his one black friend.
Right.
You know he multiplies that one black friend, right? All my black friends.
Right.
You know, that one guy, that one brother that he bought, lunch for.
Right.
One time.
Or they say they voted for Obama.
Right.
They
Go ahead.
And then, strangely enough, the chairman of the Black Caucus, that great guy, Congressman Ron Dellums, Democrat, California, says here, he came out with this, which is fantastic. "If you define niggers as someone whose lifestyle is defined by others, whose opportunities are defined by others, whose role in society is defined by others, then good news. You don't have to be black to be a nigger in this society. Most of the people in America are niggers." I didn't say that.
All right, hold on. You don't have to be black to be a nigger. Okay.
Wow.
What does the scripture say? What does the scripture say, officer, on that?
The book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 1.
So wait a minute. We're going to go to the Bible, right? Right. All right.
Now there were in the church that was in Antioch.
Wait. There were where?
Now there were in the church.
In the church.
That was at Antioch. Certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon. That was called nigger.
Now wait a minute. There's no way that happened.
Right.
That's in the Bible?
That's in the Bible?
That's in the Biblia.
Oh! He needs some milk.
But the congressman said you don't have to be black to be a nigga, right?
Right.
Okay. Go ahead and finish that.
Hey, real quick though, you realize he said being a nigga means that somebody's ruling over you and controls everything you do.
Right.
Slave of the slaves.
Right. So pretty much that sounds like captivity.
Right.
Oppression.
I don't remember Miss Ann being in captivity.
Nope.
I mean, maybe I missed something.
How about Yoko Ono? I mean, she wrote it.
She sounded like she got him in captivity. He said 2 years later I reconsidered. You know what happened, right? Undefeated.
So pretty much what he's saying, you don't have to be black to be called a nigga. So when the white woman is not submissive to her white husband, he's saying that you acting just like a black woman.
Damn. All right, go ahead and finish it.
Oh my goodness! We're navigating now. I think the word nigger has changed. It does not have the same meaning as it used to, and I think he put it very succinctly there. And I really believe women have the worst. Whatever it is, however badly or poor people are, it's the woman that takes it when they get home from work.
Well, now would you?
Pause. Oh yeah. So thank God. I just want to say this. I know we got some more content to go to. But what about the actual niggas? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Right.
Dang. It just ain't adding up for me. How you feeling about the woman if you compare them to the original? I don't know.
Right.
But the original is always better than the copy.
Right.
Dang. Go ahead.
So now let's read about it. Officer, read that. Let's read the lyrics to the song that we're not gonna play.
It says, woman is the nigger of the world. Woman is the nigger of the world. Yes, she is. Think about it. Woman is the nigger of the world. Think about it. Do something about it. We make her paint her face and dance. If she won't be a slave, we say that she don't love us. If she's real, we say she's trying to be a man. While putting her down, we pretend that she is above us. Woman is the nigger of the world. Yes, she is. If you don't believe me, take a look at the one you're with. Woman is the slave to slaves. Ah, yeah. Better scream about it. We make her bear and raise our children. And then we leave her flat for being a fat old mother hen. Then we complain that she's too unworldly to be our friend. Woman is the nigger of the world. Yes, she is. If you don't believe me, take a look at the one that you're with. Oh, woman is the slave to the slaves. Yeah, all right. We insult her every day on TV and wonder why she has no guts or confidence. When she's young, we kill her will to be free. While telling her not to be so smart, we put her down for being so dumb. Woman is a nigger of the world. Yes, she is. If you don't believe me, take a look at the one that you're with.
All right. So,
damn.
Could I just clear something up real quick? Because that's how the heathen feel about their women.
Right. Thank you.
Israelite women, could I please get Ephesians 5:25?
Right.
Israelite women, Israelite brothers do not treat their wives like that. You treat your wife like that, that means you hate yourself.
Bring it up.
The nations hate themselves. That's why they treat their women like that. That's why their women got to run to a brother and get a brother caught up. And like I said, we don't read that scripture. Prove on point.
The book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 25. Husband, love your wives.
Do what?
Husbands, love your wives.
Read.
Even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
So a righteous Israelite sister who was in her repentance, that's what Israelite brother loves. I'm sure all of us up here got wives. We ain't going home, honey, you the nigga of the house. Like, come on. Our wives is pleased to love us, to deal with us righteously.
Right.
You know, that's an excellent point. I want to get two scriptures in and get to the next article because we got a lot of content to go through. Get Leviticus 18:3 and then Colossians 3:18.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 3. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances.
So the Most High didn't want us to make it plain behaving like the other nations. And as you said, that's how the other nations feel, right? Now, the so-called Chinese woman co-wrote this. She probably wrote it, but co-wrote this, as he said, with the so-called white man, right? So she's talking about, from her perspective, how she's treated, or from, how the heathen woman is treated.
Right.
Like you said, now, God told us that these laws, statutes, and commandments would distinguish us from all the other nations. They would look at us and see that we're wise and understanding people for applying them. So get that in Colossians chapter 3, verse 18. Is that what I want?
Yes, sir.
All right.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord.
No, wait a minute. Colossians 3:19. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead. Read on.
Verse 19. Husbands, love your wives.
So now, wait a minute. We didn't read any of that in those lyrics.
No, he didn't.
We did not read that part in those lyrics. The submissive part we read about.
Right.
But we didn't read about the husbands love your wives in that part, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
And be not bitter against them.
Now, that's what we read. It was a lot of bitterness and tearing down of the woman.
Right.
Right? That's why you have shows out there like Starter Wife.
Right.
Right? Esau, when Esau makes his money, he'd be like, you know what? You can have the house. You know, you can have the summer home. But me and my 20-year-old secretary, I'm taking her as my new wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he has the power and authority to do that.
Right.
You know, so he has the power and authority to bring lyrics out like that and then transfer that thought onto us.
Right.
Then you got the black woman running around mad like, you know, because she done watch TV, listen to these songs, and that filthy communication that got into her spirit.
Right.
Yeah, because she forgot what exactly is the natural God-given role.
Right.
That's the problem. He actually is going against the God-given role.
I'm glad you said that because that's what I was going to touch on. Hey, because like you said, officer, you said that it was a man that co-wrote it, right? It was a woman that wrote it with him? Right. So to be honest, that mindset actually came from the woman because like you said, that's the white woman that don't want to play her role that God gave her as the woman in the household. That's what it really boils down to. I just wanted to, if I could, read this definition of patriarchy because all the, like I said, the videos that I watch concerning feminism, majority of those videos are the reason why women become feminists is because they don't want to play their role in the house. Definition of patriarchy. Yes, sir. Yeah, I zoomed out.
Patriarchy. A system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is head of the family.
Right.
And descent is traced through the male line.
Right. So that's what they're really fighting against. They don't want the man to be ahead of the house. The women feel like they equal to the man and they feel like they have some type of right or authority. All right. But that's what they're really going against right there. That's what that whole song was about.
Yeah, because she said, anything you could do, I could do better.
Exactly.
I want to see her make a child.
Exactly. Because even in the lyrics, it mentioned about the woman having a child. They said that was making it seem like that was a bad thing. About the woman being in the household, that making that seem like that was a bad thing. But that's the natural role that the woman was supposed to take. All right.
You know what's so funny too in those lyrics? How the woman is a slave of the slave.
Right. Exactly.
And again, I want to make this point that was a Chinese woman who biblically is Moab, right?
Right. Yes, sir.
Give me this one scripture. Ruth chapter 1 verse 16. See how the roles have reversed. Because this same woman cleaved to the Israelite woman.
That's right.
She said, wherever you go, I'm going.
Right.
And I'm going to worship your God.
And I'm going to worship your God. Now I'm the slave of the slave. She write it like she's under the black woman. Well, she is biblically under the black woman. That's but right. she wrote it like she's catching more hell on the earth than the black woman is. Dang. Read that. 1:16.
The book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 16. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. Mm-hmm. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God.
So that's how Moab felt following after an Israelite woman.
Right.
Now she's saying, she catching hell worse than the Israelite woman.
Absolutely. Hey, before we continue, since we took a scripture break, all right, we got to make sure we understand what the actual order of the household is. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians because we should have started out with this. I didn't even think about it. Right. When you talk about the feminist movement, understand, God is a God of order.
Right.
He is a God of order, and he made it very plain from Genesis to Revelation of what that order is.
Right.
It's only in these last days in the land of Babylon, which is America, where the order has been confused, where women now feel that they are equal with the man, and not only are they equal, they can become a man, and when they do become a man, they can be better than you as a man.
Bomb drop.
Only in America.
Right.
Only in America.
Bomb
This
drop.
is America. I don't know.
Bomb drop. There we go.
Boom.
There we go.
Something.
Wake up over there.
We having open auditions.
Great.
The Lionz Radio Show.
I can't lead you in no better than that.
Just call in first.
On the spot interviews.
Read the scripture, please.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3.
So this is the order that the Most High God ordained from the beginning.
Bring it out.
Read.
But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
The head of every man is Christ. Oh, we got a phone call. Hold the scriptures.
Oh, praise.
Hold the scriptures. We got a phone call, man. All right, did we answer the call yet?
Does it work?
I think we've been catfished.
Sloan, caller. What's your name and where you calling from? What's your question? Comment. Hey, shalom, officer. Bring it out. What's going on?
Right.
Hey, that's a heavy point. That's a heavy point you brought up.
Right. Right.
All praise. Hey, we appreciate your call, caller. Lord's will, you can make it for the Sabbath. And you can congregate with us. All right. Make sure you keep your fringes on and make it out. All right.
All right.
I just said that what he just said. But all right, all praises to the Most High. Get me what the order is.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Read.
And the head of the woman is the man.
The what?
The man.
The head of every woman, whether you a nigger woman, whether you an Arab woman,
right?
Whether you a Chinese woman,
right?
Whether you are an Israelite woman, all of you women understand your head is the man. You are not equal. You are not above the men. Understand that. Read.
And the head of Christ is God.
And the head of Christ is God. So there is an order. So understand, when you go against that, you are falling into the hands of Satan. Give me 14 and 33. 1 Corinthians 14 and 33. Real quick.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14 and verse 33.
Uh-huh.
For God is not the author of confusion.
For what?
For God is not the author of confusion.
Because what feminism leads to is whenever you walk into a scenario, you have to figure out who's going to kind of lead this situation.
Right.
What type of woman are you? Are you the type of woman that leads, or am I going to follow? What type of relationship we going to be in here? I got to know. Whereas in old times, you knew what role you had to play, and you played it.
You got to see if she got on pumps or penny loafers.
Exactly. You like, I don't know how I'm going to play this card. What cards do I need to play? Hey, she the type that, you know how it is, bro, right? You know?
Right. Hey, just thinking about it, they even putting it in the churches now, because the church of Beyonce.
Dang.
Bomb drop.
Feminism.
All right. Hey, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
Let's read this article. We just reading the first page. First.
Says the women's suffrage movement.
Move it up a little bit. Go ahead.
The women's suffrage movement was a decades-long fight to win the right to vote for women in the United States.
So that's what the suffrage movement was about. The right to vote. Right? Go ahead.
It took activists and reformers nearly 100 years to win that right. And the campaign was not easy. Disagreements over strategy threatened to cripple the movement more than once. But on August 26, 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was finally ratified, enfranchising all American women.
Stop. All what kind of women?
American women.
I want y'all to remember that. Moving forward. Go ahead.
And declaring for the first time that they, like men, deserve all the rights and responsibilities of citizenship.
Now let's go to the next one. All American women. Okay. Nope. Not a nigga woman. American women. All right, let's go. Definition.
Feminism. The advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes.
Didn't you just read the order that God set up? The divine order?
You see that?
Right.
But guess what? This is give me Second Thessalonians real quick. I'm gonna show you. This is showing you who the white man is. Because feminism started right here in Babylon. It wasn't anywhere else. I gotta show y'all something. Watch. Find it. I won't.
Not the author of confusion, right?
Yep.
2 and 3, right?
Yep.
The book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3.
Yep.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Read.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Right, a falling away first. That's when Israel went into captivity. Read.
And that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
That's Esau. He's being revealed right now as we speak. Read.
Who opposes.
Who what?
Opposes.
Who what?
Who opposes.
Who is the man that opposes? What did it say? It said that it said for all what type of woman? American woman.
Right.
Who set up this order that goes exactly against the order of God?
Bring it out.
The American woman.
Right.
So when you go to 2 Thessalonians, said the son of perdition must be revealed. You find out who's going against the order that God set up.
And that's confusion.
Right.
Equality of the sexes.
Right.
Because like we stated, and it was what, last week's show or the week before, about the transgender man, whatever woman that broke the skull of a natural woman. And that's how they even wrote it. Transgender woman breaks skull of natural woman.
Right.
That's confusion. Because if you look at two people and you see breasts, you're like, it ain't a woman?
Right.
You know, that's confusion.
Hey, read the scripture all the way through verse 4.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or what, or that is worship, so that he as God.
The white man puts himself up as God. That's why he makes laws directly contrary to what the Bible says.
Right.
And everybody rolls with it because what? We view the white man and his laws as God, as Bible law. Read.
Sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself
what?
That he is God.
That he is God. That's why he can put it in the media. He can put it in TV, music, everything. And now he's seeing being played out right in front of him. He's like, hey, I'm a God. I can get the whole world to do what I want us to do.
I can go on TV and say that the woman is like a nigga.
Right.
She's the nigga of the world.
And everybody clap for you.
Right.
And
you know what that is,
everybody
right?
clap.
That's propaganda.
Yeah, that's what it is.
propaganda.
That's exactly what it is. But last thing on this, because this is heavy. The basis of equality of sex. I say this all the time. When you are equal with a woman,
right?
Where are you at?
Beneath.
You on the bottom.
Right.
You on the bottom. When you read First Ezra, we're gonna go to it later. But there's no power like the power of a woman. That's why God say, hey, give the water no passage. You can't be equal with a woman. You're going to fail every time.
We're going to go through them scriptures. I want you to read quickly the synonyms.
Synonyms. Women's rights. Post-feminism. Womanism.
No. You start at the beginning.
The woman's movement. The feminist movement.
So these are synonyms for feminism. Go ahead.
Woman's liberation.
So the woman has to be liberated, right? So the woman is free. The American woman. Go ahead.
Female emancipation.
That's the one that I wanted you to get. Female emancipation. Pay attention to that later. Let's go on to the next. Go to the next video. We're gonna revisit these things. We're just building it up. Go ahead. Play that video. What does it say? Heroes you should know. So now this video is going to go into who Esau says heroes. Go ahead.
Lucretia Mott has been called the first voice of American women. She was an abolitionist, a women's rights activist, a social reformer, and thoroughly pro-life. Her activism was first ignited by her discovery that male colleagues at the boarding school she taught at were being paid 3 times what females doing the same work were paid. In protest, she left, along with her future husband James, and moved to Philadelphia. There she would marry, raise 6 children,
Wait a minute, I want
and
to
become a
pause right
Quaker
quick.
minister.
Okay. The men were getting paid 3 times more, right? It said there she left with her future husband, right? Now he was getting paid more than her then, right? She said, come on, we leaving. Is that equality? Following after the skirt. Go ahead.
She also traveled and spoke extensively on issues of justice and human dignity, led boycotts of cotton cloth, cane sugar, and other slavery-produced
Pause.
goods.
I want y'all to pay attention to that image right there.
Dang, that's
Those 3 people, right?
Yep.
Those 3 people. Where the sister at?
Nowhere
to be found.
Nowhere in
Okay.
sight.
All right. Pay attention, sisters. Pay attention. Go ahead.
He even met with President John Tyler, members of Congress, and slave owners on several occasions to debate the morality of slavery. And during the Civil War, she hid runaway slaves in her home. Lucretia Mott understood that one justice issue could not in good conscience be separated from another, whether it be the rights of women, blacks, or the unborn. And she would spend over 40 years challenging inconsistencies and prejudices in political and religious circles alike. Her list of causes included the abolition of slavery and full citizenship for blacks, voting and marital rights for women, the co-founding of Swarthmore College, and the International Peace Movement. She was widely regarded by her contemporaries as the greatest American woman.
Look at that. Hold on. United States postage. It says 100 years of progress of women. 1848. Where was the black woman in 1848?
Slavery.
Huh? Where was the black woman in 1848?
Slavery.
Okay.
Slavery.
All right. Play on.
19th century, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
These were not just words for...
Let's go to the next video.
You said where was the black woman? The black woman was for her people at that time, trying to free them.
Right.
Working behind the black man. That's where she was at.
Right. Right. All right, let's go. So this is another woman that was on it, that was right next to her on that postage stamp. Elizabeth Stanton.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton was a tireless, good-humored reformer who battled to increase the role women played in American society. What were some of her major accomplishments? Born in Johnstown, New York, Elizabeth often heard her father say that he wished she had been born a boy. Elizabeth used this as motivation and excelled at the Troy Female Seminary School. She became an activist after being exposed to the movement by her cousin, Jarrett Smith. She took a more active role after her marriage in 1840, all the while mothering 7 children. To emphasize her independence, Elizabeth had the vow, promise to obey, deleted from the marriage ceremony.
Stop. Stop. She had that deleted from the marriage ceremony. So then what was the man accepting? That man was accepting he was going to be under her.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
During their honeymoon, Stanton was refused entry into an anti-slavery convention. However, she did meet Lucretia Mott, and a promise was made between them to hold a women's convention. The Seneca Falls Convention, organized by Mott and Stanton, took place in July of 1848. During the convention, Stanton issued her Declaration of Sentiments, which demanded that women have all the rights and privileges belonging to them as citizens. This convention initiated the women's rights movement in the United States. In 1851, Stanton joined forces with Susan B. Anthony, forming a team.
I want y'all to pay attention to these timestamps. 1851. They're talking about the woman having the same rights as the man. And we talking about the American woman, right?
Right. Yep.
But yet today, our sisters believe they what? American citizens. Okay, go ahead.
Movement for almost half a century. At the outbreak of the Civil War, Stanton focused her attention on the abolishment of slavery. At the war's conclusion, she charged full steam ahead with the fight for women. In 1869, she, along with Anthony, founded the National Woman's Suffrage Association. Stanton served as its president.
1869. What happened right around that same time?
Yep, Emancipation Proclamation.
Okay, so just a few years prior,
Right.
we were getting free.
Right. Yes,
They had already been fighting for their freedom from their man.
Right. You can see it in the picture.
Right.
See it right in the picture.
So that's why you don't see no sisters there.
Right.
Like you said, the sister was with her man fighting for freedom.
Right.
Go ahead.
Until 1890. During this time, she edited the feminist journal Revolution and helped in the process of overturning discriminatory state laws. In 1876, she helped write the Declaration of Rights of the Women, which was presented by Anthony at the Centennial Celebration in Philadelphia. By 1890, the NWSA merged with another group to broaden their influence, and the National American Woman's Suffrage Association was formed. Stanton would serve 2 years as its president. Towards the end of her life, Stanton continued her efforts. With her daughter's help, she published The Woman's Bible. This was a Bible translated by Stanton, which challenged women's traditional role in society.
Pause. Cap. Come on. The Woman's Bible.
Hey, listen. The Esau, their mind is different.
Right.
That's why the scripture says they are not upright. It's not upright within them.
Right.
How do you take a Bible and you make it gender specific to you? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense at all. But give me Exodus 3 and verse 15. Show you something. I want to know what they changed the scripture or not.
Because when we be on the streets and the brother be like, what Bible you reading from? He don't never pull that.
Nah, he don't never say nothing about the woman's Bible. Right. He ain't never said nothing about the woman's Bible. Go ahead, Yaziel. You look like you had something to say on that.
Bring it out.
Nah, I'm just the woman's Bible.
Woman's Bible. We got to read it. You got to bring that thing in next time we do another show.
Yeah.
I want to hear how they translated this. Read that for me.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3 and verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And God said, moreover unto Moses, thou shalt...
Come on, man. You know what I want, man. The man of war, man.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15.
Oh, my God.
We are hiring readers for the Lionz Den show.
I was wrong, but you wrong too.
You're right.
Go ahead, fix it up.
The book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 3.
Bring it out.
The Lord is a man of war.
The what?
The Lord is a man of war.
The Lord is a man of war. Now, I want to know how they translated that in the woman's Bible. Because it's a feminist perspective. So it got to be equal, right?
Mm-hmm. They translated that with a black marker.
Right. That's what happened.
Hey, it ain't his fault, man. Just looking at that thing get you tripped up. Like, what the hell? I'm just trying to figure out a woman's Bible.
Hey, you could have used both because it says the God of our fathers. Fathers. Not mothers.
So you deep.
Hey, but you know what the problem is, right?
That brother good.
You say fathers nowadays, and somebody gonna say, "Well, Bruce Jenner." Right. That's the problem. I'd be ashamed to call that my daddy.
All right, let's go to the next video. So, Lucretia Mott, Elizabeth Stanton, we building where this movement came from, that our women have joined themselves to. Still ain't seen a black woman yet. Go ahead.
And hey, before we go to this, hold on. Give me Job 8 and 8 real quick. Because this is why you got to research. You have to research this stuff that our people join to. We join to anything, and we lay hold of anything. We lay claim to anything.
Right.
The feminist movement is just like being an Egyptologist. It's just like being what's some other doctrines we fall into? Being Muslim.
Yeah.
Being a Christianity.
Right.
It's just like, when you look, we showing you the history.
Right.
Being an atheist.
All of this movement started while you were in slavery. You were fighting somebody else's fight. That's what they don't understand.
Right.
Read that.
The book of Job, chapter 8 and verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age.
Of what?
Of the former age.
The Bible says to inquire of the former age. You got to look into this thing. You got to look where you come from. Not what the white man's history was. Right. Not what they were fighting for. Where were your ancestors in the 1800s? And you figure out why they got there. Not why they couldn't vote. Why were they enslaved in slave ships? Right. Read.
And prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
To the what?
To the search of their fathers.
To the search of their fathers. Because we don't go back far enough. We never look for our history in this stuff. We always fighting somebody else's fight.
Right.
Go ahead.
You know what's so crazy is that 1876. We read that, right? 1876. I'm gonna show you something that's deep here. The white woman don't even have no reason to be firing off no fireworks on 4th of July. She wasn't even free then.
Dang, absolutely.
Hey, real quick, you said something heavy, Captain OC, about how we fight in a fight that's not even ours. Go to 2 Chronicles chapter 20 and verse 29. Okay, because we have to understand, when we keep the commandments of the Lord, when we do not follow and envy the ways of our oppressor, this is when the Most High is going to have our back. All right, read that, officer.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 20 and verse 29. And the fear of God was on all the kingdoms of those countries.
So the fear of the Most High God was on all the kingdoms, all the nations that try to gather themselves together, crafty counsel against us. Read.
When they had heard that the Lord fought against the enemies of Israel.
So if the Lord is fighting against the enemies of Israel, why are we fighting for the enemies of Israel?
Yep. We lost the
message.
Palm drop.
It's a
boom.
You can tell it's a difference too, because even when you look up feminism, majority of the time it shows a white woman, but that has a certain definition for black feminism. That's for the black woman. So it's showing you the difference. Feminism for the white woman. Right. You got black feminism for
hey, we gonna get there.
Woman.
Yeah, if we can get there, we gonna get there.
I'm sorry.
Hey, let him. But you setting it up. You setting it up, officer. All praises.
Yes, indeed.
Setting it up. All right. Let's go. Play that video.
She was a great inspirational leader. She rallied hundreds of thousands of women.
Susan B. Anthony changed the course of history for women in the United States.
At the beginning of her career, of her dedication to women's rights, she was much despised.
Her arrest for voting in the 1872 presidential election and eventual trial paved the way for women's political rights.
One of the things she brought to the women's movement was a tremendous faith.
Susan B. Anthony was born in 1820 in Adams, Massachusetts. She was from a tight-knit Quaker family who believed in education.
In the Quaker meeting house, men and women spoke equally. And so Susan B. Anthony thought that that's the way it was everywhere.
The reality was most women were uneducated, could not own property, had few legal rights, and were subservient to men. And Susan B. Anthony wanted equal rights under the law for both sexes. Anthony met Elizabeth Cady Stanton, the architect of the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls, New York, and the duo teamed up.
They were responsible for every right we have as women today. Stanton had the sort of intellectual vision. She had the way with words. And Anthony had from the beginning the vision of what it meant to build a movement.
It was 1872 that Anthony caused a national sensation when she voted in a presidential election illegally. Her trial had an all-male jury, and Anthony was not permitted to speak on her own defense.
The trial was rigged. Her vote didn't count, but she got great publicity value out of it.
Anthony was fined $100, which she never paid. She did, however, continue to spread the word on women's rights throughout the U.S. and Europe.
She appeared in front of every Congress from 1869 until 1906, the year she died.
Women were finally given the right to vote in 1920, 16 years after Susan B. Anthony died.
I think that every February 15th, women in this country should recognize that as Susan B. Anthony's birthday, and just for a second, say thank you.
All right, so play the next video. Let's go. Abolitionists.
Hey, officer, can I make a statement right quick? Based on what we just saw, I just put up a definition because it says she came from a Quaker family. It says the Quaker religion were Christians who believed in using no scriptures. They use no scriptures. Pull up the definition.
Wait a minute, y'all gotta pull that up.
Somebody come look at this. Somebody come look at this.
It says.
Damn, there's a lot of Quakers on the streets today, isn't it?
Right. Look up dictionary.com Quaker. Dictionary.com. Because it says she was a Quaker. She came from a Quaker family. Right, it's crazy. Let's see that definition, please. Keep going down. You might have to put, what does it mean to be a Quaker? That's what I got on here. It's on dictionary.com. Actually, let me screenshot it. If we need to, we can come back to it.
But, hey, why you getting that? Give me John 7:38. I just want to understand how you a Christian with no scriptures.
Right.
I'm going to show you what the Messiah said himself. How do you know Christ if you don't read the scriptures? That don't make no sense.
She's going to tell you, not my Jesus.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Hey, from now on, when we go to the streets, we don't call nobody a Christian. We call them Quakers. We call them Quakers. Like, are you a Quaker? Nah, I ain't no Quaker. I'm a Christian. Are you a Quaker? Do you believe in the Bible? Damn Quakers, man.
The book of John, chapter 7 and verse 38. He that believeth on me.
He that what?
Believeth on me. As the scripture have said.
As what?
As the scripture have said.
There's only one way you can believe in Christ.
Right.
There's only one way you can believe in Christ. It says, as the what?
As the scripture have said.
As the scripture had said.
Right.
So without the scriptures,
you're a Quaker.
You are a Quaker.
Right.
Damn.
Hey, why you still getting that? Get Revelations 22 and 19.
Hey, it's on the group, fellas. It's on
You
the
a
lines.
Quaker.
There we go.
All right. You got it? All right. Let's show that to the people.
It says Quaker, a member of the religious society of Friends. The Quakers are a group of Christians, see also Christian, who use no scripture and believe in great simplicity in daily life in worship.
You know what? They Quakers are modern day Christians.
Yes,
they are, because
yes,
it says in daily life and in worship.
Right.
How do you worship God if you don't know what?
It don't say worship God now.
Well, they Christians though.
That's man worship.
That's crazy.
That's why. I'm sorry. That's why when it says they grew up in a Quaker home, she believed in their house they had equality between men and women. So that's why.
The Bible.
Right. That's why she thought that everybody was supposed to be that way. So that's the mindset
They might have used the woman's Bible. That's what might have been going on over there.
Hey, but even at that, they was all walking around with it under their arm.
Damn.
Right.
And you know,
right. Absolutely.
The scripture says we got to be brought to the simplicity of Christ. So how you going to be brought to the simplicity of Christ if you don't even read the scriptures?
That great simplicity just means they was simple as hell. That's what that means.
Right.
Revelation 22:19.
The book of Revelations, chapter 22 and verse 19. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy.
Now, how you going to take away from the words if you don't even know what the book says?
Right.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
God shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book.
So if you a Quaker, this applies to you.
Right.
All right, let's go to the next video.
So the same books that they don't even care to open to read is the same books that they're going to get judged by.
Shalom, caller. What's your name? What's your number? What's your name and what's your question or comment?
My name is Dwayne. How's everyone doing there?
Hey, what's going on, Dwayne?
Nothing much. I've been listening, and you guys are making some pretty good points, and I just wanted to actually further the points that you were making, is that our people are fighting a battle that's not our battle in the war of feminism, because if you think about it, our rights can be revoked at any time. The Voting Rights Act is a temporary act, and they made it that way on purpose. If they wanted us to have our rights, they would have made it permanent, but no, they haven't. So that means every several years, they have to vote on it again to extend it for the next several years, on and on. And if you think about it, when, or let's just say if, they decide to revoke our rights, which we won't have any way to stop it, the women in our group, all the black women, do they still believe that they will have their feminist rights? No, they won't. Their rights are going to be invoked along with ours, but the white woman is going to still keep hers. She's going to still keep her rights while your rights get revoked. So, as you can see, you have the ability to lose all your rights when the whites retain theirs. That's basically what I'm saying. And so that means you technically don't have those rights. You're fighting for her rights that she's going to keep, and you won't keep if they decide to revoke it.
Dwayne, what does the Bible say about voting anyway?
Oh, we're not even supposed to be voting because
absolutely.
Yeah, because we have to have someone of our own lineage over us, and Esau is not our lineage. So whatever he decides to do, he can do. We ain't a part of that.
All praises.
Hey, Dwayne. Hey, we appreciate you calling, bro. We know you're a faithful listener. That's right. We appreciate you calling in and supporting the Lion's Den radio show. Make sure you're spreading the word out there and telling people to tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m.
Will do.
All right. I want to back that up with Dwayne said. Give me 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 19, and then we're going to go on and play this next video because he segued that perfectly because we're going into the voting rights.
Hey, all praises.
1 Samuel 8:19.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 8 and verse 19. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel. And they said, nay, but we will have a king over us.
Read.
That we may also be like all the nations.
You see that? We always wanted to be like the other nations.
Right.
Read on.
And that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles.
And now the king that the Most High set over us, right, to judge us.
Right.
He say, you Negroes don't have no rights.
Right.
You're not American. Right? Go back to your asshole countries. All right, let's go ahead and play that next video.
In this scene from the 2012 movie, Abraham Lincoln spells out the terms of Reconstruction.
All they heard was the first time any president has ever made mention of Negro voting.
In 1865, he said freed slaves who were intelligent or had served as soldiers should be allowed to vote. The 14th Amendment, passed in 1868, guaranteed this right as part of the full citizenship accorded to African American men. But for much of the 20th century, voting remained a contentious issue. The 19th Amendment, ratified in 1920, gave women the right to vote, but the racial divide remained. Some states continued to limit voting, either through measures like the poll tax or direct intimidation of African American voters. In the South, there were even whites-only primaries.
We shall overcome someday.
This is Sam Tannenhouse of the New York Times. The first modern Civil Rights Act was signed by President Eisenhower in 1957. It created a federal commission authorized to enforce voting rights. Senator Strom Thurmond conducted the longest filibuster in history, more than 24 hours, in an effort to thwart the bill, but it passed.
The location for the meeting with Senator Rivers.
Still, voting was not equal for all. Massive resistance in the Deep South was organized to keep blacks from the polls, and legal enforcement was hampered by all-white juries. Voting rights became a central issue in the civil rights movement.
I think this march will go down as one of the greatest.
In 1965, the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. led the march from Selma to Montgomery for better voting laws.
Hey, Paul.
The nation was shocked.
I just want to say something. I want to say something real quick because me and you was talking about this before. I know a lot of listeners out there that if you Israelites and you young in the faith, a lot of y'all don't really understand the depths of what people like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Edgar Megas, a lot of our forefathers in the civil rights movement, we don't quite understand what they went through. We know the doctrine was wrong. We get that. We know the doctrine was wrong. But some of you brothers that say Martin Luther King was a coon and all that stuff, you brothers don't even show up to the school to congregate on the Sabbath. Yet these men literally put their lives on the line to fight with what they thought was right.
Right.
This is my challenge to you. For all you out there that have a problem with Martin Luther King and his doctrine and whatnot, I want to see you on the streets teaching your people. That's what I want to see. Until then, I don't want to hear a word about Martin Luther King. I don't want to hear a word about Malcolm X. I don't want to hear a word about Rosa Parks. I don't want to hear a word about none of them until I see y'all doing some work. Right. And I know they got nothing to do with the topic, but that was on my spirit. I had to say that.
And you know what? Until they could come out and do what you said, Captain, just let them to continue to say rest in peace.
Right. Dang. No keyboard prophets. I got you. All right, go ahead, press play.
Shocked by images of the marchers being attacked. And less than 5 months later, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act of 1965. It barred states and districts from curtailing the vote on the basis of race, color, or language.
All right, that's all I wanted right there. 1965, but when did the American woman get... The American woman got the right to vote in 1920.
Right.
Civil rights covered who? Sisters. That's for you.
Right.
You American woman.
So it was, hey, we got to get that song real quick. American woman, won't you let me be? Y'all don't know that about that, do you? Y'all don't know that about that. Hey, but that's heavy you said that, man. I forgot my point. Go ahead, play that video.
Go ahead.
In the mid-1800s, women's equality was out of the question. Women couldn't even wear pants. Instead, they wore inflexible, suffocating dresses in which they could hardly move. However, through her inspirational writing, Amelia Bloomer furthered women's rights and inspired other women to make a difference. She wrote, she influenced, and she worked with other women to accomplish her goal. Amelia Bloomer was born in Homer, New York in 1818. With minimal amount of years in grammar school, her formal education was considered slim. However, at the age of 22, she married a man who partially owned the Seneca Falls County Courier. He encouraged Amelia to write about social issues and temperance. Within a few years, Amelia would attend the first public women's rights convention in Seneca Falls, New York, leading to her new career. Only months after attending the conference, Amelia began publishing her own temperance newspaper entitled The Lily. This challenged women's rights, bringing up topics such as unfair educational opportunities, suffrage, and discriminatory property laws. In the first article of The Lily, Amelia wrote, "It is women that speak through the lily. Intemperance is the great foe to her peace and happiness. It is that above all that has made her home desolate and beggared her offspring. Surely she has the right to wield her pen for its suppression. Surely she may, without throwing aside the modest refinements which so much become her sex, use her influence to lead her fellow mortals from the destroyer's path." Amelia believed women could freely speak through the lily. She believed that the greatest enemy to equal rights was the unchanging opinion of the world. She believed that women had the right to go against all the unchanging opinions and write what they felt should be said. Not only did Amelia write about these things, but also towards fashion. During the time period, women wore dresses that could in total weigh 10 pounds and due to their length, would pick up any dirt and filth on the unpaved streets. Amelia worked with others in order to inform women of alternative clothing choices. One alternative to the heavy dress was bloomers. They consisted of loose bodices, petticoats, and gowns cut to above the knee. Even though Amelia herself didn't invent this outfit, her promotions of the bloomers in her writings gave them the name. A woman by the name of Elizabeth Smith Miller saw Turkish pantaloons and decided to share her idea with her cousin Elizabeth C. Stanton and her friends. Elizabeth Stanton and Amelia Bloomer both wore bloomers in their everyday lives. However, Elizabeth soon stopped due to ridicule. Amelia stuck with it and...
Pause. So, just in case you didn't catch that, part of the feminist trinity
right.
Elizabeth Stanton was Amelia Bloomer's cousin. That's hey, let that marinate. I still ain't found a black woman in there yet,
but you know what's crazy? She said she's standing up for women that being oppressed, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but what other woman in the face of the planet of Earth was oppressed at this particular time than a black woman? You know what this is about, right? She's trying to get back at the white man for keep on sleeping black. That's what this is about. Because every night, he wasn't coming home in the bed. Where was he? He was in our house doing, 20, what's that, 30?
30, yep.
That's what was going down. That's why she's fighting against the white man so hard.
And she hated the black woman also. I got a book that I usually pull out, that goes into that. But at that time, these women were slave-holding women, okay? And they hated the black woman. Well, go ahead.
Found bloomers light and comfortable. She wore them around her home, when she was lecturing, and even to fancy parties. Amelia states, "I felt as much as ease in it as though I had been arrayed in the fashionable draggle skirts." She referred to the uncomfortable dresses as draggle skirts. Her actions then influenced other women to continue the trend. Traveling women found bloomers.
Stop.
There it is.
Her actions did what? Influenced
other women.
So when we tell sisters at camp, we bring out Deuteronomy 22:5. It's a heavier topic than a lot of times. A lot of times our women are so selfish, they're only worried about themselves. I'm comfortable with their women's pants, but you're influencing other women, other Israelite women to sin.
That's what y'all brought out earlier with now Most High put the spirit on Esau to tell the parents y'all need to dress appropriately because you need to be an example to your child. It literally said that you're a partner in the child's education when you should be the leader.
Right.
So now I got to teach you how to raise your child.
Was easy and comfortable, stating that it was easier to get in and out of covered wagons. Later in history, Amelia would still be influencing women. Bloomers were said to be more economically efficient because it would take less fabric to manufacture. Women in the 1900s would be wearing bloomers in the workplace due to their freeing structure. Even in present generation, Amelia is influencing young women. Shayna Corey wrote a book entitled "You Forgot Your Skirt, Amelia Bloomer." Within the book, Shayna writes about Amelia's life and journey of inspirational writings. Towards the end of the book, Shayna implies that Amelia is the first domino in the women's rights movement for pants, showing young girls that with hard work and determination, goals can be achieved. Amelia influenced women of her time period and continued to throughout history. To conclude, Amelia grew from a poorly educated girl to a truly inspirational woman through her writing. She promoted women's rights and inspired others to follow. With the help of other women such as Elizabeth Canton, she made the Bloomer movement more known. She became an example to women throughout time. Like Shayna Corey implies, Amelia Bloomer is the first domino in the women's rights movement towards pants.
Because in that picture, Amelia Bloomer was holding up a sign, women's rights to vote, right? Real quick, get Zechariah 8:17. Because this is, as a result of, what was that term? Quakers, right? Quakers that are supposedly teaching our people the Bible, but they're not really reading from the Word of God. As a result of this, it's been a domino effect on our people leading to failure, all right? Read what you got. Zechariah 8:17.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 17. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor.
So today, when the so-called black woman, black and Hispanic woman wants to be equal with their man, when they want to follow the feminist movement, that is an example of imagining evil in your hearts against your neighbor, against your Lord, against your husband. Read on.
And love no false oath.
And love no false oath. Because regardless if we're voting for somebody who's black or if they're white, it doesn't matter, because their purpose is to still uphold this American society. And this is a false oath when women can actually think that, okay, now I have the right to vote. Now I'm going to go vote and pants that now I'm allowed to wear. So therefore, it turns into a false oath, okay? A false hope to a nation that does not care about us. Read on.
For all these are things that I hate, saith the Lord.
So in a nutshell, God says he hates when his people vote for a nation that cannot save them.
Absolutely.
All right, play that real quick. Y'all thought I was making that song up. Play that real quick.
Hey, you know this guy's Amalek, right? Hey, look who the American woman is.
Yeah.
American woman.
Wow.
Cut it off.
We have open auditions.
Cut it off.
Phone call.
Oh,
the phone number
Yes.
is 407.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless. This is Shia Israel. Shalom, Lionz Den.
Shalom, sister. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Connecticut, Iuic, Connecticut, New York.
All praises. What's
Yes, so
your question or topic? Comment.
The topic is, I understand it, feminine, but I grew up with my mom and dad. My mom knew her place. So, my dad came home, dinner was done. Even when she worked, she knew that, the man always came first. That's how she taught us. The man came first, then the man came first, then, then it was us. And they was together 50 years, so there was no such thing as she's running the house. The man ran the house. We never was in between there. If they had an argument, we wasn't into that. So today's women is totally different,
All praises.
So being in the truth, it makes me understand even more where my place still is. So it's easy for me to know it by being in the truth. So
that is my question for you. Were your family, was it a faith-based family, or he just did that just because that's the way it was?
Well, my mother and father, my father was Muslim, my mom was Christian, but they still understood and they still came together. They wasn't in the truth, but they just knew they're from the old school, from the 60s, 70s. So back then, and my aunts and uncles, the man was always the head. He always took care of the bill. He worked, and my mom worked. They put their money together, and they built a home together. We knew our place. So at least he taught us that too. And my dad always taught me that you're never going to be over a woman. You can never do the same thing as a man. You're never over a man. That's what he always taught me.
All praise to the Most High.
Okay, that's my input.
All praise. Well, since we appreciate you for calling in, we thank you for supporting
All
the
right,
Lionz
thank you, Shalom.
radio show.
All praises.
All right, Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Most High Christ bless.
Hey, I want to read a scripture to back up what happened, because it ain't by chance that sister now is in the truth. It ain't by chance that she now, when she heard the scriptures of she's an Israelite and the order of the household, that she fall in line. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
Read.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Right, and that's what happened. Even though it wasn't all the way spiritual and they were in two different beliefs, that stuck with the sister. All praise to the Most High for that.
Right. All praises.
All right, let's you ready to go to that one, or you forgot to bring something? Go ahead, press play. Wait, hold on, pause. You gotta, bring that out. Anything.
This right here?
Yeah, the difference between white feminism and black.
Okay, yep. Just like I was saying earlier, we read about the term feminism, right? That's what we're going into the topic about. But you have to understand that there's a difference between the white feminist, which is the American woman, and the Israelite woman being a feminist. All right, it's totally two different things, and this is going to explain it.
All women ain't created equal?
All women are not created equal.
Used lately after Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift's Twitter exchange, or when people critique HBO's Girls. But what does it mean?
Basically, white feminism is feminism that ignores intersectionality.
So not all feminists who are white feminists.
But most white feminists are white, because white people just don't have to think about things like race on a daily basis.
And we're not just pulling the race card. White feminism excludes the experiences of basically anyone who's not white, cis, and straight.
Here's why that's so problematic.
First, it assumes the way white women experience misogyny is the way all women experience misogyny. And that's just not true.
White feminism aims to close the wage gap between men and women. But what it fails to recognize is that most of the time, Latina and Black women make even less than white women.
And police brutality should be viewed as a feminist issue, but it doesn't affect white women the way it affects women of color. If Sandra Bland had been a white woman, would a simple traffic stop have resulted in an arrest? Would she be viewed as a loud, angry black woman? Would she be dead?
White feminism ignores the role that whiteness plays in creating things like beauty standards. For example, this is okay, but this isn't.
White women are most often the faces of feminism. Tina Fey, Taylor Swift, Amy Schumer have been able to break into industries that have been dominated by cis white men. But black women, women of color, we face barriers that white women don't.
Critiquing white feminism isn't about silencing those women. It's about opening up space for even more diverse voices to be heard, and that's great for everyone.
Being a white feminist doesn't make you a bad person. It just means you have a lot to learn.
The most important thing any white feminist can do is educate herself and listen and engage with the experiences of women of color without silencing them. Because sometimes as white ladies, we just have to shut the fuck up.
All right, hey, then. Hey, let me get Daniel chapter 9, verse 11. All right. So basically,
He needs some milk.
so what I got from that is there's two different definitions of feminism when it comes to the white woman and the black woman. All right. We got two different walks of life. Once again, we got okay.
All right, how we doing, caller? What's your name and where you calling from?
Shifra, calling from Northern California, Sacramento camp.
All right, and what's your question or comment, sister?
My comment is that Esau seems to have identified that it's blessings and it curses. And so they try to act like they're so abused, that they're the biggest people on earth that's suffering and going through stuff when they know that it's us.
Right.
And so definitely I see them trying to steal the curses as well as the blessings.
Absolutely, sis. Absolutely. Hey, they gonna change. They've been trying to take our identity for the longest. So it's nothing new that they're doing it now with the woman. Hey, but all praise. We appreciate you for calling in. We appreciate your support, sister.
They the slave master and the slave.
Right.
Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
Shalom, sis. Thank you.
Daniel chapter 9, just jump to verse 12. Get straight to the point.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 12. And he have confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges.
Us is speaking of the nation of Israel, all right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Go ahead.
And against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil.
Right, go ahead.
For under the whole heaven.
Under the what?
Under the whole heaven.
Under the whole heaven. Right, go ahead.
Have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem.
So it's basically saying that the things that the Israelite man and women go through, no other nation can compare to that.
That's right.
And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that the white woman goes through the same or even worse things than a so-called black or African Hispanic woman goes through. Right. All right, but we see that there's a clear difference. All right.
All right. Bring up that. Yeah, there we go. Let's go into the pay.
It says black women's top jobs pay half white women's due.
Top jobs, right? So why they talking mess to their man?
Right.
Now, if he said, well, you don't make what that white girl make. Go ahead, read that.
On average, a black woman in the U.S. has to work more than 8 additional months to earn what, on average, a white man does in one calendar year. Tuesday, August 7th, marks this enigma's milestone. It's what's known as Black Women's Equal Pay Day. It also falls 4 months after the same marker for white women who experience a smaller wage gap than African American women do.
So she got to work 4 months longer to get the same pay. All right, go ahead.
A major factor in the black-white gap is what is known as occupational sorting, the cluster of demographic groups into certain jobs and fields. Women tend to cluster in lower paying jobs than men. Black people in lower paying jobs relative to white people. Black women are doubly punished.
Wait, hold on.
Double.
So wait a minute. What the hell was Yoko Ono talking about?
Right.
Go ahead.
In the U.S., the most popular jobs for white women pay almost twice as much as the most popular jobs for black women. It's reflective of gender and racial discrimination that we know exists in the workplace and in terms of what opportunities are available to women of color, said Valerie Wilson, the director of Economic Policy Institute's program on race, ethnicity, and economy.
All right, so now let's get the next one. So we know that the black woman got to work at least 4 months longer than the white woman to make the same pay. Right?
It says Tuesday is Black Women's Equal Pay Day. Here's what you should know about the gap. On average, black women had to work 20 months to match what a white man made in 12.
Right, hold on. I'm just going to... What happened to the black man?
Right.
We just phased out.
But you know what? That's a good question because people don't know the most educated minority in the United States is the black woman. Therefore, they're subject to a higher pay than even the black man outside of sports. And yet, they still don't get paid what the white woman get paid.
But Steve Harvey be interviewing these black women. It's like, well, I'm making 150. He got to at least make 75.
Right.
He got to step up to my level. Right?
6 figures.
Go ahead. Read on. That's foolishness. That's all I'm saying.
Steve Harvey
That's
is a
really
feminist.
foolishness.
Scroll
Because
it over a little to the right.
we in the same boat.
Right.
This year, Tuesday, August 7th, is Black Women's Equal Pay Day, which marks how long a black woman has to work in 2018 to catch up to the same amount a white man made in 2017.
Hey, now this is the question to the listening audience. Has anyone ever heard of Black Woman's Equal Pay Day? I've never heard of that.
Never.
What do you get your wife for Black Woman's Equal Pay Day? You give her another check? I mean, what do you do?
Hey, man. Hey, give me Deuteronomy 7:6, please, because the thing that blows my mind is this equal stuff.
Right.
Because when you say equal, you have relegated all of your rights from God.
Right.
That you are better than everybody else.
Right.
You let that go. You let that go. And we, guess what? As the nation of Israel, we're not standing for that any longer. Understand that. Read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
God says that we are a holy people. Read.
Unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Read.
Above.
what?
Above.
Equal pay day.
Above. All people that are upon the face of the earth.
All people that are upon the face of the earth. So understand, you shouldn't be celebrating no National Black Women's Equal Pay Day.
Right.
God says you're above all nations upon the face of the earth.
She don't feel like that in that 4th month, though.
And look at the division. The white man showing you that they hate the black man for skipping over him. So that's causing division in your household, black woman. Wake up.
Read on. Jump down to attention because I want you to see. No. Jump down to the next one. But these numbers, I want you to see something.
But these numbers change considerably for women of color. Black women, for example, needed 20 months to reach equal pay. Native American women will hit equal pay on September 27th.
Wait a minute. Scroll back up. August 7th. Scroll back down. September. That's when the Native American woman hits that mark. Go ahead.
While Latinas will hit the benchmark on November 1st. And while Asian American women technically hit the equal pay mark on February 22nd.
Go back up.
Go
back up. So the black woman hits it in August. Go back down to the Asian woman. Yoko. She back in February. She done already hit the mark. Talking about she oppressed.
Hey, officer, I got to bring this up. Do y'all know what a paycheck is for? Somebody tell me what a paycheck is for. I want to know what a paycheck is for. I'm asking y'all up here.
Hey,
what is a paycheck for?
Bills.
To what?
Bills.
Bills? But what type of bills? And to do what with it?
Light bill.
Survival.
Rent.
Right. Food, shelter, water.
Absolutely.
This is what they're not. Why do a woman need to be paid equal to a man in the first place?
Heavy.
That's the question you need to ask yourself. Go to Isaiah 3:12 real quick, and then go to 1 Timothy. Understand, this is a setup. Why are we fighting to get equal pay to a man when you're not supposed to be by yourself?
Getting heavy.
That's what they fail to understand.
Right.
The black woman ain't picked that up yet. She ain't picked it up because what they say, I can do bad what?
All
by myself. Right. That's not what you ordained to be. You were set up to be a helpmeet.
Right.
Not the meat. You will help somebody. You want to bring home the bacon.
Right.
You ain't bringing home the bacon. Dang. It ain't set up like that. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people.
As for what?
As for my people.
As for my people. Read.
Children are their oppressors. And women rule over them.
And what?
And women rule over them.
So only amongst the black and Hispanic and Native American community do our women crave the ability to be a man and to be like the man. We see it started with the white woman.
Right.
But when we got deep, we can go back to the first woman. The first black woman.
There we go.
And we know where that started at. Eve wanted to be equal.
Right.
So understand, we know where this thing comes from.
And remember, she got deceived.
Right. Exactly.
Message.
So women rule over them, but let's see, what did God say the woman was set up to do? Go to 1 Timothy chapter 5, start at verse 13.
The book of you said 1 Timothy 5?
Timothy chapter 5, verse 13. Read verse 8 first, and then jump down to 13.
The book of
something. Because the whole earth is out of order. Understand that. Read that.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. But if any provide not for his
that's one of them pronouns. He put his for a reason.
They her?
Bring it up. Because when you go down, then it talks about a widowed woman.
Right.
Read it again.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his house, his own house.
That's why they wrote the women's Bible.
Right. So this is showing you what? The Bible was written to build marriages.
Right.
And this was Paul that was writing it. So you can't get a more male chauvinist view than him. But he still understood that it was supposed to be a union between two.
Right.
Between two. Because if he really, he should have said, nah, y'all brothers stay single. Don't worry about no woman. All right, just get it in. No, that ain't what he said.
Right.
Now jump down. What was the woman supposed to be doing?
Verse 13. And withal, they learn to be idle, wandering about from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also, and busybodies.
Read.
Speaking things which they ought not.
14. This is what you sisters supposed to be doing.
I will therefore that the younger woman marry.
I will therefore what?
That the younger woman marry.
That the younger woman marry. Because guess what? If you are married and both of y'all work until you start having children, I guarantee you'll make more than that white man.
That's right.
I guarantee it.
Right.
Together, though. Only together can you do that. You can't do it by yourself because you're 7 times behind, and the black man might not even be able to get a job.
Yep.
Read.
Bear children. Guide the house.
Do what?
Guide the house. Give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully.
So within your roles, he never said live to out-earn the black man and white man.
Right.
It didn't say that.
Right.
It gave you exactly what to do. Go ahead, Austin.
I'm ready to go to the next one because it gets deeper.
Bring it out.
It gets deeper. Read that.
The top 10 most startling facts about people of color and criminal justice in the United States.
Now, we bring this out before. You always think it's just talking about the black man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Scroll down. Stop. This month, the United States celebrates the Selma to Montgomery March of 1965 to commemorate our shared history of the civil rights movement and our nation's continued progress toward racial equality.
It says progress. Okay, let's see.
Yet decades later, a broken criminal justice system has proven that we still have a long way to go in achieving racial equality.
You see the craftiness? They say broken, but yet they privatize the prison systems and they got to fill them up.
Right.
Ain't nothing broken about it. That thing is working perfectly for them.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Benefit.
Today, people of color continue to be disproportionately incarcerated, policed, and sentenced to death at a significantly higher rates than their white counterparts. Further, racial disparities in the criminal justice system threaten communities of color, disenfranchising thousands by limiting voting rights and denying equal access to employment, housing, public benefits, and education to millions more. In light of these disparities, it is imperative that criminal justice reform evolves as the civil rights issue of the 21st century.
Yep. Jump down to verse 6. To number 6, I'm sorry. Number 6.
Hey, man, are you a Quaker?
Yeah, oh, man. Hey, you know what I was thinking? Now, since we going to go there, since you going to put me on blast,
That's the woman's
let's go to Deuteronomy 28:48, because that's what I was thinking.
Bring it out.
That's what I was thinking. I'm reading that, and I'm thinking all these things they providing for us right now.
Right. All praise.
The book of Deuteronomy.
I'm in the spirit. I'm in the spirit.
Chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore, shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger.
Now, wait a minute. I want you to scroll back up. Scroll back up. Scroll back up. Right there. In hunger. Go ahead.
And in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
So we are disenfranchised in employment, housing, public benefits, and education. All right, let's go back down to number 6.
Sound like we in captivity.
Sound like captivity.
I didn't know any better.
Right.
Number 6.
Let's see if the black woman is in captivity with us.
As the number of women incarcerated has increased by 800% over the last 3 decades, women of color have been disproportionately represented.
Wow.
While the number of women incarcerated is relatively low, the racial and ethnic disparities are startling. African American women are 3 times more likely than white women to be incarcerated.
Wait a minute. Yoko Ono lied again. Go ahead.
While Hispanic women are 69% more likely than white women to be incarcerated.
Wow.
You hear that, Cardi B?
So African American and Hispanic women over the white.
Right.
The Hispanic woman is more likely to be incarcerated also.
So it goes to show you, feminism is on 2 different levels.
That's why it says bond men and bond women.
Bring it out. Bring it out. All right.
I ain't the smartest man in the world, but 3 times more likely, and then 69%
Yeah, I was
more
trying
likely.
to do the math too.
Wow.
That
has to be a large amount.
Hey, don't forget the 800% up there too.
800%.
Gotta add that too. 800. I didn't even know you can go to percentage.
That's 100%.
I thought it went to 100.
That's 100% times 8. For y'all, they can't count.
Right.
Hey, let's get that next video. Susan B. Anthony. So now, the effects of the feminist movement on our black and Hispanic women. Let's play this.
Doesn't deserve your I voted stickers. Hi, my name is Luria. Every election year, women cast their ballots and trek to Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, New York. They proudly place their I voted stickers on the headstone of women's suffrage heroine, Susan B. Anthony. They have perpetuated idealized versions of Anthony and her white colleagues, such as Carrie Chapman Catt and Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Evidence of their ruthless racial bias has been pushed to the shadows, enabling the erasure of their women of color counterparts who also fought tirelessly for the right to vote. Susan B. Anthony only appeared to care about black people when the status quo was in her favor. In 1864, Women's Loyal National League President Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Anthony, the League's secretary, both signed a congressional petition in support of the 13th Constitutional Amendment to abolish slavery. Their petition garnered nearly 400,000 signatures. However, when the 15th Amendment...
They signed that in 1864, right? To abolish slavery. So we were still slaves, right?
Right. Yep.
That's for the black American woman there. Go ahead, read on.
...was ratified, giving African American men the right to vote, Anthony, Stanton, and her colleagues were enraged. Lori Ginsburg, a history and women's studies professor at Penn State University, spoke with NPR in 2011 about her book, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, An American Life. There, she shared quotes in which Stanton stated that educated, virtuous white women were more worthy of the vote, and her fear for future women if these degraded black men were allowed to vote. Years prior, when speaking with Frederick Douglass at an 1886 meeting of the American Equal Rights Association, Susan B. Anthony famously asserted, "I will cut off this right arm of mine before I will ever work or demand the ballot for the Negro and not the woman." Of course, in the 19th century, when only white men were able to cast a ballot, there were disagreements among campaigners about which disenfranchised group deserved the vote first. Whether Anthony was referring specifically to the white woman or all women, regardless of race, is irrelevant when you consider her abandonment of her abolitionist roots when black men were being heinously lynched across the nation for attempting to exercise their newly constitutionalized right to vote. Some people might argue that women such as Susan B. Anthony were just products of the times in which they lived, that she didn't live in an era that welcomed progressive ideals and outspoken opposition. But that's bullshit. Compassion wasn't invented in the 21st century. When African Americans were facing injustice at an inopportune time for her, Susan B. Anthony did nothing. Sometimes silence is more damaging than words. At the onset of the 20th century, Anthony was aligning herself with the likes of Belle Kearney, a Mississippi-born women's suffrage advocate and an outright white supremacist. In the words of Carrie Chapman Catt, the founder of the League of Women Voters, white supremacy will be strengthened, not weakened, by women's suffrage. I believe that true equity in women's rights will never be achieved unless it is intersectional, validating and fighting for the plights of all individuals who identify as women. Next election day, when you're looking for a home for your I voted sticker.
Go to the next one. What I wanted y'all to see was that they only cared about the black vote or black people when it was beneficial to them. They did not care. Once they got their rights and they got what they wanted, they threw black people to the side like they always do.
That sounds like Obama.
Right. I was gonna say that sound like Hillary Clinton.
Yep. Hey, boom. You know what though? Because for real, Hillary. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Hillary claimed to fame was her white man cheating on her in the Oval Office, and she took that and ran with it. And every sister sat up here and felt sympathy for her.
Right.
Felt sympathy for her. Meanwhile, she's over here co-signing with that same man who got 3 strikes laws putting your man behind bars.
Dang.
Boom.
The testimony before the Credentials Committee, the FDP had a lineup of very different people. They had Rita Schwerner, the widow of Mickey, who had been killed in Neshoba County. They had Martin Luther King. Everybody knew King.
The seating of the delegation from the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party has political and moral significance far beyond the borders of Mississippi or the halls of this convention.
But the highlight of the testimony was that of Fannie Lou Hamer. The sharecropper who had been evicted from her plantation had come to symbolize the Mississippi movement.
Mr. Chairman, and to the Credentials Committee, it was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens. We was met in Indianola by policemen.
The president, Lyndon Johnson, he's not afraid of Martin Luther King's testimony. He's afraid of Fannie Lou Hamer's testimony. And so he decides that the country should not see her testify live.
Johnson is in the White House, and he convened an impromptu press conference.
We will return to this scene in Atlantic City, but now we switch to the White House and NBC's Robert Goralski.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
On this day, 9 months ago.
He did it knowing that they would break away, thinking he might announce who his choice of vice president was going to be. Instead, he gets up there and he announces, get this, he announces that it's 9 months to the day since Governor Connolly, who was there, was shot along with President Kennedy. So he announced a 9-month anniversary. Everybody's scratching their heads.
Thank you very much.
And then he leaves. And by that time, Fannie Lou Hamer's testimony was over. However, it backfired on Johnson because it became a story that she had been taken off television, and in the news that night and for days afterwards, they replayed her testimony.
I was carried to the county jail and put in the booking room. They left some of the people in the booking room and began to place us in cells.
She had Mississippi in her bones. Martin Luther King or the SNCC field secretaries, they couldn't do what Fannie Lou Hamer did. They couldn't be a sharecropper and express what it meant, right? And that's what Fannie Lou Hamer did.
And it wasn't too long before 3 white men came to my cell. One of these men was a state highway patrol. He said, "We're going to make you wish you was dead."
Hey, that's heavy. That's heavy. Go to Job 5 and 12. I'm gonna show you what the Most High did with that testimony right there. Cause Esau thought, he like, hey, I control the flood. I control the flood. This is my medium. Take that Negro off.
My show.
Hey, he found out he couldn't shut up the black woman.
Right. Oh yeah. What it say? A loud woman is only for crying away of the enemies.
Yep. Right.
Read that.
The book of Job, chapter 5, verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty.
He what?
He disappointed the devices of the crafty.
You all right?
Yes, sir.
Read that again.
He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
You see that? So that their hands could not perform their enterprise. Read.
He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong.
That's what the Most High did in that situation.
Right.
All praise to the Most High, he was able to do that. Go ahead. What's the next video, officer?
Bring it out.
Bring that next video up. So, now we're gonna play 3.5 minutes of this. Y'all got to listen to the black woman. The black woman is destroyed in America. Y'all got to listen to what the sisters say. Go ahead, play that.
Ladies, has anything like this ever happened to you? Watch.
It's open. It's open.
I don't go out on dates with guys who don't open the door for me.
Really?
Really.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, man.
No, he didn't.
Well, according to a recent survey by Match.com, 73% of women believe that chivalry is dead. And according to one of our next guests, she explains in her new op-ed, it's because women killed it. Suzanne Venker is a columnist and an author of The Alpha Female's Guide to Men and Marriage. And joining her to discuss is Wendy Asefo, a professor at Johns Hopkins University and a Democratic strategist. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Good morning.
Okay, so Suzanne, you wrote this op-ed. Wendy, I know you've read it. I've read it. And you compare a telegram that was sent to a woman right before she got married to a Facebook video. The first one I want to read is back in the day. Back in 1954, your friend, her mother just recently died. Your friend was going through a memorabilia. She finds this telegram, and it says, this is the husband writing it to his soon-to-be wife. Darling, I shall be waiting for you at 8 with a lifetime of expectancy. My heart will be coming with you down the aisle. May God be with us tonight as we pray we will always be with him. Thank you for becoming my wife. My love forever yours, Henry. Then several days later, Suzanne, you saw on Facebook this video where this person was saying, chivalry is harmful to both men and women because it reinforces this idea that women need to be helped or saved by a stronger man, and it takes away a woman's agency. So you saw these two contrasts, and you decided to write the op-ed. Explain that a little for us.
Sure. So it just struck me as just, wow. I mean, the stark contrast between this beautiful letter that really moved me to seeing this message from this woman basically selling the same tired message that men have been hearing for decades, which is, I can do it by myself, I'm strong enough, you don't need to hold the door open for me, you don't need to pay my way, you don't need to, basically anything that's sort of traditionally male and female in terms of the courtship is just gone. And after so many years of hearing that, my argument is that men have effectively said, okay, well, you said you don't want it, so I guess I'm not supposed to do it, and if I do it, then you're going to be insulted. So they're really lost and confused about what it is that women want, and I think women are just as confused because they've been sold this message that chivalry is bad or somehow destructive to women, when of course it's not at all. And so we have a problem.
Wendy, what do you think? Are we to blame women?
I wouldn't go as far as to say that women kill chivalry. Whether you look at from Cardi B to Beyonce or working moms like myself or even countless others, what we have done is we have evolved the conversation of what it means to be a woman in today's society. And what that means is, we're doing it all. And it basically means that men have to basically rise to the occasion to meet us where we are. We are not, the mothers of our past, and there was nothing wrong with that. But we are getting our arms involved in a lot of things, and we're busy doing and juggling millions of things. So chivalry is not dead in the essence of we don't want men to open doors for us. But what we are saying is, you have to handle us and you have to handle our full-time job as well.
All right.
Wow.
I hope y'all heard that clearly.
All right.
She said the men got to rise up to the woman.
Right.
That's alpha woman speech. I hope y'all caught that at the beginning. She's an alpha female. Go ahead.
I bet she's single.
Hey, can we get a definition of chivalry?
You already know she's single.
Chivalry? No. Oh, I have it right here. You have to pull it up. It means men behaving courteously toward women, holding the door for them, offering them their jackets when it's cold. It's called chivalry. So basically a man being respectful to a woman. That's what they refuse now.
Yeah, we knew nowadays. That. Yeah, appreciate
you. All right. For those who didn't know.
I'll mess with you. You didn't know, so you looked it up. All praise.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Sorry for those who knew already.
We playing this one?
You may have heard the word intersectionality thrown around a lot lately. A black woman coined the term in 1989 to highlight the overlapping ways black women are oppressed every day. Her name is Professor Kimberly Crenshaw, and her work is especially relevant today. Because even though intersectionality is a buzzword these days, traditional feminism still doesn't consider the many ways black women and other women of color experience oppression. And that makes a lot of people feel marginalized by the movement that's supposed to fight for them. Despite being historically left out of feminism, black women have always been doing the work, creating their own political and social movements that don't depend on traditional feminism at all. Writer Alice Walker coined the term womanist in 1983. Womanism is a social framework that separates itself from feminism and centers black women. Here's how scholar Layli Phillips puts it. Unlike feminism, and despite its name, womanism does not emphasize or privilege gender or sexism. Rather, it elevates all sites and forms of oppression to a level of equal concern and action. While scholars have drawn clear lines between what separates womanism and feminism, a lot of black women fall somewhere in between and identify as black feminists. But as Professor Patricia Hill Collins argues, there's not really a term that represents the fullness of what black women now call black feminism and womanism. Regardless of how you identify, traditional feminism has always fallen short. It's forgotten how police brutality disproportionately affects black women, that African American and Latina women continue to make less than, literally, everyone else, and that murders of trans women of color are underreported and forgotten. The good news is...
All right. That last part. But she said, black women make less than everybody.
Right.
Right? So now, go to the last video of the Candace Owens. Let's play the minute and 19 of that, because I want to show you that even amongst so-called black women, Israelite women, they don't even agree.
Not only was it absolutely a great number, but more specifically, this is one of the best monthly numbers I've ever seen for black people, ever. The unemployment rate for black people went from 6.6 to 5.9%, absolutely the lowest ever. But here's the kicker. Labor participation, 76,000 blacks came into the labor market. Every other race actually saw people leave the labor market. Absolutely remarkable stuff.
Yes, historic numbers coming in yesterday. Here to react, we're going to bring in Candace Owens, Director of Communications at Turning Point USA. You continue to hit the trail at these campuses to amazing crowds, which I see online. Well done. What do you make of these numbers? Historically low unemployment overall, but also for blacks.
It's wonderful, wonderful news. It cannot be overstated what this president has done for the black community, the hope that he is inspiring, the economic growth that he has inspired within this country. I heard Antoine say in the last segment, "Thank you, Obama," that's just a delusional comment. Either he doesn't understand economic policy or he doesn't want to. But this is directly correlated to the work that he has done to shrink government and to slash regulations. And I'm just so proud. And it's a great time to be a black American. I'll tell you that much.
What more needs to be done?
I think he needs to just continue to.
Wow.
Go ahead.
All right, okay. Hey, let me get Ezekiel chapter 16, verse 30.
She said it's a great time to be a black American. But the last sister, she didn't see it that way.
Right.
She said we get less than everybody.
Right. Also, I'll put a definition up. It says imperious. Imperious. All right, read that. Ezekiel 16:30.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 16 and verse 30. How weak is thine heart, saith the Lord. God, seeing that thou doest all these things, the work of an imperious, whorish woman.
Right, so we're reading about the Most High comparing Israel to a woman. Now, it says when Israel has a weak heart or weak mind, we are compared to an imperious, whorish woman, right? The definition of imperious, it says assuming power or authority without justification, arrogant or demeaning. So the woman, when she has that mindset to be over the man, to be equal to the man, the Most High said that's a weak mindset, all right? And that's why our sisters have to repent, all right? That's it.
All praises. All right. You got something?
Psalm 72 and 4. Psalm chapter 72 and 4. Because what we've been seeing over and over is that the black woman is oppressed just like the black man. So when you fighting for women's rights as a black woman, what are you really fighting for? To be above the man that God put above you. So let's see what he says.
The book of Psalms, chapter 72, verse 4. He shall judge the poor of the people.
Read.
He shall save the children of the needy.
Because us black and Hispanics here in America, man and woman, are the poor. We are the needy. We lack. Read.
And shall break in pieces the oppressor.
The Lord said he is going to destroy the oppressor for oppressing his people as a whole.
Right.
That's what we have to understand. So stop fighting the white woman's fight.
That's it. Go to Revelation 18 and 4. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 4. What we're seeing is our people being spoiled by the doctrines and philosophies of Babylon. Because when you go to the islands, when you go to Africa, these places, they understand that they are oppressed together. Only here do we divide ourselves. As a matter of fact, that ain't what I wanted. I wanted Luke 11 and verse 17. Because that last video you showed, I couldn't even understand what the argument was. Yeah. Intersexualists and womanists, I was confused. But I'm going to show you why they do that. Luke chapter 11 and verse 17.
The book of Luke chapter 11 verse 17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them,
Read.
Every kingdom divided against itself.
Every kingdom divided against itself. Read.
Is brought to desolation.
Is brought to desolation. The nation of Israel is divided on all fronts.
Right.
We don't know if we want to fight for civil rights. We don't know if we want to fight for women's rights.
Right.
We don't know if we want to fight for political rights.
Right.
We don't know if we want to fight for equal pay.
Right.
We don't know if we want to fight for education.
Right.
We are divided on all fronts. We don't even agree on what we want to call each other.
Right. We can't even agree on the knee. The brother took a knee, and you can't even get brothers to agree on that.
You can't agree on nothing. So read it again from the top.
But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
Read.
And a house divided against a house falleth.
And a house divided against a house falleth. The house of Israel is at a decayed estate because we are led astray by every wind of doctrine that shows up. But I'm going to show you what God told us to do. Give me Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. What is the solution? You sisters got to come back to your place. Understand, the black man and the black woman were made to be together.
Right.
We are not separate entities.
That's right.
All right? We got a caller? Caller, how you doing? Can you hear us? All right. What's your name? Yes. Can you turn your radio down, please?
Ricky,
turn the radio
I'm
down.
sorry, that's my brother. That's his TV.
Okay.
Here, I'll just go in another room, okay? Hold on.
All right. So what's your question or comment, sis?
I just want to say that I agree with what you guys are saying.
All praise.
I'm having an issue in my family with the women in my family, the older women, the middle-aged women, and the younger women, because, they following them and listening to them. So I agree with what you all are saying. I really appreciate y'all bringing out these scriptures so we'll know, but I'm still trying to work on getting my nieces, to get out those pants and to learn their role, basically,
All praise, sis. All praise. Where you calling in from?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, Cincinnati. All praise. We got brothers and sisters out there. So make sure you link up with the brothers and sisters out there and get yourself built up. The book of Titus, it tells you exactly how to build up those young sisters so they can see that example from other sisters. You understand?
I've gotten out of my pants and I love dresses anyway.
So
I've been wearing my dresses. I believe in them wholeheartedly. But I've been trying to get the girls to get out of those jeans,
All praise.
Hopefully it'll come across, but a lot of my family members really not agreeing, with that, because they said, well, we're going to go to hell for wearing pants,
All praise.
And so I have to take them to the book of, I think it's Zechariah, right? Where Christ said about the strange apparel.
All right.
Yeah.
All praise.
So,
our time slot is up. We appreciate you for calling in.
Oh.
We thank you for joining.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Love you.
All right. Shalom.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, hey, we're going to end it there. Once again, we are the Lionz Den Radio Show. We do not ignore evil.
We seek to expose it.
All right. Tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. live. Lionz Den Radio Show. Shalom.
Shalom.
Listen, I'm tired of dealing with all these problems. I know that. Look, I got way too much on my plate right now. Yeah. Listen, hey, I'm gonna have to call you back. Yeah, hello? Ad on the bench sign here at the bus stop. It says, make Israelite great again.
We have a school in Orlando, Florida at 5380 Silver Star Road. You can call us at 855-484-42 extension 707. If you want to see more advertising, please donate at iuic.orlando@israelunite.org through PayPal. Thanks again for your support. Shalom.
The treatment of God. We are not black men, we are Israelites. Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. Here at Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom. Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us, subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.